Yeah. We're live now, baby.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom to the worldwide family. Peaceful Sabbath today, y'all, as we get about our Abba's business. Y'all know how we do it, y'all. We turn toward Holy Jerusalem,
Yes,
as
sir.
mentioned in Isaiah chapter 2, Jeremiah chapter 7. Also, Daniel chapter 6, verse 10, y'all. We have our direction on which way we should pray. Our order within the assembly. Men are to uncover, women are to cover when praying or prophesying within the assembly. Also, Numbers 30th chapter. Also, y'all, we want the Most High to lift us up high. Also mentioned again, we lift our hands up high at 1 Kings 8 chapter as well as 1 Tim chapter 2, verse 8.
That's right.
With that, y'all, we get this prayer going and get this feast going.
All right, family. We're going to get this opening prayer. And it's with the Most High's permission. And it's in the name of His only begotten Son, our Lord and Savior and our Redeemer, Yahushua HaMashiach. But we know Him as Jesus the Christ, y'all. Long live the King.
Long live the
Reading in the book of Psalms, in the 26th chapter, it reads, Judge me, O Yahweh, for I have walked in mine integrity. I have trusted also in the Most High. Therefore I shall not slide. Examine me, O Master, and prove me. Try my reins and my heart. For thy loving kindness is before mine eyes, and I have walked in thy truth. I have not sat with vain persons, neither will I go in with dissemblers. I have hated the congregation of evildoers, and will not sit with the wicked. I will wash mine hands in innocency. So will I compass thine altar, O Yahweh, that I may publish with the voice of thanksgiving, and tell of all thy wondrous works. Master, I have loved the habitation of thy house, and the place where thine honor dwelleth. Gather not my soul with sinners, nor my life with bloody men, in whose hands is mischief, and their right hand is full of bribes. But as for me, I will walk in mine integrity. Redeem me and be merciful unto me. My foot standeth in an even place. In the congregation, will I bless the Most High. Hallelujah! Sing on!
Yes, sir. All praises, y'all.
Yes,
sad, boy. Lord, what we praise that for.
Yes.
Woo! All praises, family, y'all, as we get about our Abba's business today. Lesson, reap and sow with the conscious results. So, y'all, what we're going to study on today is when the Most High say you reap what you sow. And, y'all, there's a positive side to that, and also there's a negative side to that.
That's right.
So, y'all, we're going to get on both sides of it because it starts with the consciousness, whether you reap or sow. And the consequences of reaping and sowing. And the reason Spirit moved to bring this class forth is rapping with Akradale out of Temple, Texas.
Okay.
You know, had some thoughts out he come out of the booth cutting loose. And what he said, Daniel, what's the difference? Why did David and Bathsheba, first child, have to die based on the acts they did? And Lot's children on that illegal act with him, why did they get to go 4 generations and nothing happened to them? So based off of these things is crimes. And then he's saying, and also, why would Lot offer his daughters to some raging maniac, you know, homosexual, so to speak?
Yeah.
And him being a righteous man. So, the Bible interprets itself, and its law, statutes, and judgment are holy and pure and undefiled. So when you understand that from a perspective first, anything that you see that may be seen coincidental or challenging your faith and making you think that the Most High is judging unfair, he say all his ways are righteous.
That's right.
So every one of these situations, y'all, in our case studies today, being that we're in the days of Noah, Sodom, and Gomorrah, these events that are happening that you're calling on is based off of instructions on if a man does that. But there's many variables within that. It's just like, the commandment right there just says, the 6th commandment, thou shalt not kill.
Right.
What we going to do about war? What we going to do about Judgment Day? What we going to do about any law that says if a man or a woman or anybody be caught doing this, you should put them to death? Ain't that killing?
Yeah.
So what does it mean when thou shalt not kill? There's many ways of killing, y'all, and we have to understand that from the law perspective. Or we'll get caught up with people telling us the Bible is tampered with. And I believe it, but I believe it's got some inconsistency. You don't believe it then. How you going to believe something that says undefiled and then you state that I think it has some interruptions or some form of defilement or confusion? And no, you're confused. If you play by the rules, there's no confusion. If it's 15 to get on board in dominoes, why are you trying to get on with 5?
Right. 13.
With 13.
Oh, yeah, you silly.
So and y'all, that's what we're talking about. It's undefiled. Anything you got beef with Paul breaks it down in Acts 24 and 28. He said, you got any beef with me, everything I learned is from the law. Why won't they go to the law to prove Paul wrong? They keep talking about slipping back in the air in the priesthood, which he's thoroughly and telling you he's out of. But just go to the law right here where it says this, and this is what this man is saying out of his mouth. Yo, this ain't hard. But in the latter days, the love of many shall wax cold.
That's right.
And love is the keeping of the commandment. When keeping of the commandment wax cold, what happens is people just start to overlook things.
Iniquity shall abound.
And iniquity shall abound. You know, ain't no need we keep talking about what's on TV. Every TV show you watch now, they have to have a homosexual in it.
Stop playing.
Or a bulldog. But if you want to watch TV, you got to watch this. Do this mean TV is wicked, or does it mean that now wickedness is personified? Because it's always been there on TV. It's just been kept in the dark. It's overt now. It ain't covert no more. They pushing it in your face, but just like Lot and Sodom and Gomorrah, this ain't nothing new. We ain't came nowhere close to what Lot was witnessing with his naked eyes. I'm talking about we pull up videos. But I'm talking about action can just take place right before your eyes while you're standing there.
I don't believe this.
Boy, look here.
Beds on the corner.
On the corner. We're going to get into some of that today in these case studies of reaping and sowing, because all this is based off of reaping and sowing, either positive or negative.
Right.
Because Lot is in the thick of Sodom and Gomorrah, and he's reaping positive action. Mm-hmm. How is that possible? It's possible, y'all. He ain't going to put us nowhere that his word will go void and that we can't trust in it. So y'all, with that, but first y'all want to send out our continued prayers to Sister Stacy. Her mom has been through the second surgery and she's doing well, y'all. Ain't out of the woods just yet.
Right.
So we need to still continue to pray for Sister Stacy concerning her mother. Also, Brother Elisha here lost his aunt. So y'all, we want to send prayers up, keep this brother strong in the faith, and he understands. He knows what the death angel is about, and we're born to die. So that's understandable, y'all. But in these times, you get weak, because it's pain. And also, y'all, our brother Ishua, a great servant of the Most High in this camp, his younger brother is falling ill and taking a turn for the worse. So we really want to pray for the house of Ishua, y'all.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so we need to really pray for the house of Ishua, y'all. They need strength right now. And anybody else out there, y'all, that need prayer, Hananiah, Uriah, absolutely. She's getting much better. Just going through, some cleanup work, so to speak, after surgery.
Right.
It's a long walk, y'all. When they cut on you and they cut down toward the bone area, y'all, that's a cut has to heal in fluid.
Right.
And inside, y'all, that takes a long time.
Yeah, long time. And then you're talking about brain.
Yeah, up top. Y'all picture that scab on your knee is almost healed, and then you do something, knock it off, and you got to start all over again. Boy, ain't that terrible?
That just hurt me.
Oh, boy, I know it did.
Jacob partner Ken, how he doing?
Jacob partner Ken is doing much better, y'all. Still day to day, y'all, as we continue to move forward, in our prayer. Prayer is working. Bro is doing much better. Ain't out of the woods just yet. Shalom, Michael. Y'all, and we just want to pray for all the shut and sick in, and we want to, thank everybody that continue to support the ministry, as y'all have been doing, y'all, that we may continue to go forth. Well, like I say, before we get into today's lesson, reap and sow, the conscious results of these matter. Because, y'all, the questions that you have consciously, they will be answered today. Most High willing, as we go forth with this feast. But y'all know how we get down. Anybody got any questions or concerns? Anything on? You don't see nothing out there? So first thing, y'all know how we get down. Yahweh Shah, Hamashiach, the one and only high priest after the order of Melchizedek through eternity. Forever. Will never trade places with anybody else and will not share his glory with anyone else after this order. He's the one, y'all. Don't let nobody trick y'all back into Aaron under no circumstances. You hear talk of sacrifices. If you don't bring up Melchizedek, then that means you're slipping and you let them on board with 5. It takes 15 to get on board, if we're looking at it from that perspective.
Right.
But y'all know the 2 witness rule. 2 witness don't mean 2 words to say, that repeat themselves. That's not a 2 witness rule, because tree may mean something else in another scripture.
Right.
Could be.
Judas Iscariot hung himself from a tree, and it said Christ was hung on a tree. We know he was hung on a cross that was made out of a tree. Right. So when you line your 2 witnesses up, they better be with the same subject matter.
Right.
Or all you're going to do is just keep reading till you get the tree. There's different kind of trees. What you saying back there, Zed?
It's a possible.
It's a possible. Boy, look at it. 2 and a possible. That means it ain't for sure, is it? You talking about 2 and a possible. You got 2 jacks and a bunch of 9s, and you talking about you got 2 and a possible.
No, you ain't. You ain't got a possible.
Name of the class is Reap and Sow Conscious Results. Because your reaping and sowing starts in your consciousness because you lay a plan out, right? You're saying this is what I want to do, and these are the results I'm looking for, right? But that starts up here, don't it? Whether good or evil. So if it's evil, the results will show this. Because the law deals with certain things like that. And y'all, and I'm just moving on real quick. And while we're talking about reaping and sowing, just had that Rittenhouse trial. Not guilty on all charges.
All charges. When he threw out that other one, that was the only one that could.
That's the only one that could have got him. We know the judge was, you can see automatic cussing out the prosecutor early.
Yeah.
But the deal is, y'all, the only film footage they had was him being chased with weapons. No, they wasn't an AR-15, but a skateboard across the head a couple times could do some damage. What else was the other boy pulled out a pistol, and the only witness that left alive, they asked him, did you point your pistol at him? When you put your hands up, he put it down. He like, yeah. He said, well, when did he shoot you? Didn't he shoot you when you pointed at him? Well, yeah, the case over at that point.
Yep, right.
The only living witness say he shot me because I pointed my pistol at him and he blew my muscle off my arm.
You hit me with a skateboard, you don't get shot.
Boy, look here. So y'all, the deck was already stacked, y'all, but we're not looking at this like we should be looking at it. What we should be looking at this now is white people are complaining that their people were gunned down like Negroes.
Yep.
Because that's what they're comparing it to.
That's what I saw. I said now they get to see what our kind of justice look like.
Right, because that's what he's saying. And they're saying it. We're not saying, they're saying if it had been a black man, he would have never got out of jail. Right. They would have never raised money for him.
No bail,
and he would have pled guilty.
He'd have pled guilty 2 days after he got locked up.
So y'all, when we get into these laws today, a lot of laws in the land, and since we're in the days of Sodom and Gomorrah, it says it's going to be like that. Y'all, we're going to see some tripped up laws with judges like this that Elijah was speaking of a little earlier in the book of Joshua we're going to get into. Judges playing games and stuff in with the process. And this is what you got to understand. There's no private prosecutors. All prosecutors work for the state.
All right.
You can't hire a prosecutor off the streets to go at the police or any individual. All prosecutors work for the state. Let's get that understood.
Along with public defenders.
Along with public defenders, absolutely, Zeb. Thank you, bro.
But I also wanted to say something. Just like you were mentioning, every action starts up here first.
Yes, sir.
So knowing that, understand that the spirit is first.
Yeah.
Before the flesh.
Right.
Because your thought process is the spiritual aspect of your being.
Right.
Or you putting forth action.
Put iniquity on your soul, what you're saying.
It's first spiritual, whether it's righteous or evil.
Right.
But the spirit always comes before the flesh.
Yeah.
See the consistency? Because even in the creation, the whole creation was a spiritual matter first.
Yes, it was.
Because it was an idea that then came forth through the word.
Let us make man in our what?
Image.
In the image of the Most High. You think they got anything to do with wickedness? His image, perfect and upright? No, life. First spirit.
First spirit.
And we got to serve him in spirit and what? True. We can't serve him in flesh and lust.
Right.
That's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
Let's start this off, y'all. Matthew 13. We're going to and this is about the parable of the sower. Y'all get into all this, but this is our chief high priest, after the order of Melchizedek, Yahushua, explaining, and he gives different all the way through Matthew 13, but we just going to pick it up in 37. Y'all read verse 1 on down to where we going, but he gives every parable in every facet of life that we deal with, so that you can't say, well, that didn't deal with the part on how I reaped and so. Y'all, it's going to cover everything.
Right.
We're going to get down to the final conclusion of the whole matter, though, with the Messiah, though.
See,
So go ahead.
That's like I say, man. This is like ragu, baby.
Yeah.
It's in there.
It's in there.
Everything is in there.
Yeah, boy, look here. You ain't got to look for nothing. You ain't got to run back to the stove for nothing.
No.
It tells us in Isaiah 59, 1 through 8, or 55, 1 through 8. Mm-hmm. Why do we keep buying bread that don't satisfy?
Right, exactly.
Y'all, you keep running back to the stove. This bread is already here, y'all. This bread is seasoned and proven.
Woo.
You lick your fingerprints off messing with this bread. It's so good. Where we at? Matthew.
That's some serious licking.
That's some serious licking, ain't it? Like
That's some heavy licking there, boy.
Matthew 13, verse 37. We're going to read through 43. Then we're going to run right to that Galatians 7 and 9 and Jeremiah 7:10. We'll set our subject matter concerning reaping and sowing, which our class consists of. Y'all, last week we ran the order of the administration in 1 Corinthians 12, and we started in about verse 29 of the administration, first apostles, then prophets, and then teachers, y'all. We're in a teaching mode now, y'all, so there's instructions for teachers. Instant in season, out of season, apt to teach. That means you have no problem with it. You're always on guard, but if you take on that, you cannot come in there with novice behavior in a professional ring setting. You can't come into a professional match with a headgear on and a cup protector, can you? A heavyweight fight at the MGM Grand and you...
You scared to get touched?
You scared to get touched, ain't you? Look, you got on the body shot bag that your trainer have on. You got that on too.
And knee pads.
And knee pads.
Just in case you get dropped, you get dead, so you won't hurt
Joseph, no.
Once you do get dropped.
No. Let's get it, y'all.
They covered all bases.
All right, family, we're going to be reading in the book of Matthew, chapter 13.
Yes, sir.
And we're going to start my eyes are just watering because I'm tripping. Trying to get my vision back.
Yes, sir.
Chapter 13, verses 37. I'm going to read it through 44.
Yes, sir.
Everybody there? Yeah. Let's get some understanding, family. He answereth and said unto them, He that soweth the good seed is the Son of Man. The field is the world. The good seed are the children of the kingdom. But the tares are the children of the wicked one.
Who are the tares?
The children of the wicked one.
So all of you going to read from verse 1 down to where bro just picked it up, 37. All you read in between that is personal dealings to deal with this final event that you'll be included on. It's individual, and then there's a whole song to settle the matter at the end. We're going to have believers and unbelievers, what this coming down to, and the sowing and the reaping will be judged by Hamashiach, the high priest.
Exactly.
Let's read some more.
Verse 39.
Yeah.
The enemy that sold them is the devil.
Is the who?
Is the devil. The harvest is the end of the world.
Right.
And the reapers are the angels.
See, so we getting a clear understanding of what's happening or going to happen at the end of the world. We see who the enemy is that sowed wickedness is the devil.
Exactly.
And the harvest, what we're talking about, Zechariah 14, the harvest for the world. When the whole world come up. And the reapers are the angels. Yep. Them will be the ones that if he say, I don't know you, y'all reaper time.
Say, hey.
Reaper time.
Lead them that way.
Look, Michael threw Satan and his angels out.
Right.
His host of demons. He threw them out.
Yes, sir.
What we got coming? What you got back there, Thomas?
I watched a YouTube video. It got text, right? And this Edomite say, why should I believe in God and Christ? He say, man, y'all killed my dad and my brother. You know, and he say, I had a dream that night. You know, and in the dream, this big old man appeared above standing over him, right? And he snatched him out of bed, put his head in the floor. He said he could see through the floor. He said, man, he said he kept having a dream, 11:34. He turned 11:34 upside down. kill my dad.
11:34. Hell.
If you turn it upside down and say, hey.
Okay.
Now check
That's
out.
what
He
I
said,
said. You, bro. I'm slow.
now check it out.
I'm slow as Jeffro Bodine on that one. Go ahead. Keep going.
He said, write it down.
Go ahead. I'm here.
He said, also, you're going to kill me now.
Right.
In the hell after you're going to kill my dad and my brother.
Uh-huh.
He said, that's when he had the dream. And the big man was standing over on the grave. And snatched him and put his head on the floor. And he could see through the floor.
Right.
Guess what he said after that?
What?
He said, God in Christ is real. He said, never will I wish what was shown to me on nobody living on this earth.
Well, see, and where did that happen at, though, to give him that understanding?
In his dream. In his conscience.
In his conscience.
Yep.
So that's what we're talking about, y'all. The Most High, well, you become a believer in your conscience because you ain't got no help. And y'all, look at this. He wasn't worried about nobody killed. He didn't say he killed my great-great-great-granddad.
No.
He died too, didn't he?
Yeah.
But see, y'all, it get personal. It get personal, y'all, when it's so close to you. This is why, y'all, we're telling you, if it's this personal and when one died, if your mother or your father wasn't in the truth, on Judgment Day, that's when your conscience really bothers you, because even though they didn't listen to you, do you want them to go to the lake of fire?
No.
You know you don't. So this why you got to have a balance to give all you got to make sure you did everything you could for them while they're alive. Because they like, I don't want to hear that now. It's conditions that make them don't want to hear it now. But just keep showing your light. Because they watching. Do you want to see them in the kingdom or don't you? Or you that angry with them now that one auntie you talking about, you say, and I don't care. If I make the kingdom, if she ain't there, so be it. No, that ain't in your heart and you know it. What you got, Imam?
I'm agreeing with you.
And you know that. So that's what we're talking about, y'all, when we get serious about this. Because if you got 10 enemies, what 9 of them look like, Elijah?
You.
Okay. And the other one we just read in this verse 39.
Look like
Yeah. Read that verse 39 again. This is what the 10th one look like that you're going to have trouble with. What it say?
Verse 39.
Yeah.
The enemy that sowed them is the devil.
Is the who?
Is the devil.
Uh-huh.
The harvest is the end of the world.
Right.
And the reapers are the angels.
Yes, sir.
As therefore the tares are gathered and burned in the fire, so shall it be in the end of this world.
Uh-huh.
The Son of Man shall send forth his angels, and they shall gather out of his kingdom all things that offend.
All things that do what?
That offend.
Uh-huh.
And them which do iniquity.
So if there's tampering with this Bible, if there's any misconfusion, then won't you be free of this charge?
Yeah.
Lord, how did I fell into tares because of tampering?
Right.
How you gonna judge me? That's an unrighteous judgment, ain't it? Yes, saying that to the king of the world. And you think he don't know? Shall now the clay tell the potter what's righteous judgment?
Right.
Let's read some more.
Verse 42.
Uh-huh.
And shall cast them into a furnace of fire. There shall be wailing and gnashing of teeth.
Uh-huh.
Then shall the righteous shine forth as the sun in the kingdom of their Father. Who hath ears to hear, let him hear.
Uh-huh.
Again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto treasure hid in a field, the which when a man hath found, he hideth, and for joy thereof goeth and selleth all that he hath, and buyeth that field.
So we can hold that, y'all. Y'all read the rest of that, but we see the end of the matter when reaping and sowing. So it comes down to, y'all, what do we consciously say we're handling a matter with? And if we go outside of these instructions, because ain't nothing coming your way is uncommon to man. Ain't nobody been in a situation that's uncommon or that can't be read about in these scriptures. It's not designed that way. You wasn't designed differently from Adam.
Right.
You're in the same image of God. The only problem is you just got corruptible flesh now. But your soul is not corrupted.
Right.
Your soul is still righteous. Unless the soul gets tainted. If you have any ailment in your body right now, those are in your flesh. Your soul is not in a wheelchair. Your soul does not walk with a limp. It will be perfect because it has to bow down before the king. What, you think angels gonna come and help you out your wheelchair spiritually? Lord, he's a little slow. If we can take a 5-minute break on judgment, we need to get him up here. No.
People in the back, he holding up the line.
He holding up the line.
No, it's gonna be swift.
No, when you get up there, that soul is perfect because it's immortal. It didn't say the soul was made to be corrupt. It said because the worms die not even in hellfire.
Right.
It's letting you know it's immortal, even if it's on the wicked side that you end up. So y'all, let's try to be as righteous as we can, y'all, and keep these commandments. Got to keep these laws. Got to keep these laws. What you got back there? Say that again, bro.
How can your soul get tainted?
How do souls get tainted? It's when you choose to believe a lie. So now you're gambling, you done put your soul on the line. Truth is always going to be there, like Elisha said. Spirit always come first. Righteousness always come first. The devil always come to you first. After majority of the cases you find out the truth or have already been saved through an incident that you trust the Lord with your whole heart and soul. That's when he comes because your soul knows that it's been saved. Because you know I'm supposed to be a judgment day. So if he can get you to doubt that maybe that was just happenstance, or blaspheme the Holy Spirit, believe that miracle was done by the devil, or believe somebody tell you, oh, them tricks been done all a long time. No, they do that all the time, and your faith waver. That's what Satan is after. But the Most High told Satan, you cannot touch his soul. You can go after the flesh all you want. That's what you said. That's what your deal was, because he cannot tempt the soul. He can only tempt flesh, where lust is. He's the adversary to straighten out, to bring this. What happens when you reap terrible, then here he comes. This is based off of reaping. And this is the soul product that he's coming. But he's coming after that flesh. James 1. When sin has to, what is sin coming for? It's entice you off of what? Your lust. It's not off your soul. It's not off that. If I can get your flesh to love, but I have to start with your inner being first to make it activate to your flesh. Because if your soul starts operating with iniquity, then your flesh gonna follow suit. As a man thinketh, so is what? Where you think he's thinking from? His flesh or his spirit?
His flesh.
His spirit.
His spirit about his flesh. Go ahead, Imam.
So it's the sins of the flesh, the lust of the flesh, the pride of life, and the third, lust of the flesh.
Seven death. If you're speaking of, yeah, Proverbs. Go ahead, Imam.
And what does he do? All of these things, so you're saying having to do with the flesh.
With the conscience,
And the conscience.
leading it to the flesh. Remember he told Eve, you should not eat of it nor touch it. See, the first is spiritual. Eating spiritually. You don't take no instructions from nobody else, nor do you touch. And then it gets physical. Touching comes in. Touching is always of the flesh.
See, he's trying to get us back to a righteous conscious state that guides our flesh in a righteous manner.
That's right.
So that we are back like Adam was in creation, without sin, where his mental followed his actions, or his actions followed his mental, which was a righteous spirit. So that's what we're trying to get back to, retrain our mindset. That's why he said the new covenant should be written in our heart.
That's right.
No longer on the flesh. It's not hanging on the refrigerator anymore.
That's right.
I'm gonna put it in your hearts, so that your conscience knows to behave,
Right.
be obedient. Therefore, it will rule your flesh to do the same. So now we have a balance. We're a balanced individual.
Absolutely. See, after a while, that's why we keep going over the rules of the assembly every start of class. So if a man come in here with some Daisy Dukes on, he ain't understood the assembly up here. What told him up here that it'd be okay? he misinterpreted come as you are.
Right.
No. You're right. Look at what you say. So a couple of us be rested, sister. But look, that's what we're talking about. The word scripture is taught from the flesh. The word say, did it say come as you are? No, it don't mean come as you are like that. Then how do we keep the devil out of here? What you got, Michael?
I was just thinking, so when he said we created, he spoke to the Father and he was like, create us in his likeness, our image. So when we sin, we're in violation of his character.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Of his character, because he's a brand name and we're his life, we're his representative. The Messiah never failed. When he represented his father, everybody respected because they say he just like his dad.
Right.
If your daddy a roofer and he putting up roofs on everywhere and he turned the business over to you, here you leaving nails around, and you talking about other groups. You know, he said, well, they put up the roof, but they can't speak English. You leave nails.
Right.
You up there at 12 noon at 70 or 80 degrees. What gonna happen to them shingles? You gonna mess them all up because they're gonna melt and you're gonna be sliding on them. You're not doing what your father did. You're ruining his good name.
Right.
Your misrepresentation
Of his good name. We heard your daddy used to do it like this. This is how no, this ain't the same report. Right. So y'all, that's what happened when flesh takes over. It starts to try to teach the laws from error. Not before it happened, but justification for why it happened. See, it's only because of this. And once you start going there, the flesh is running the show.
Once you start going there, that's what talking to you.
So y'all, when you hear tampering with, just ask the individual, is the law tampered with? And once say the law is tampered with, the script say go away from him.
Yes.
It don't say keep trying to battle him. It says go away from him.
It's nothing you can convince them of.
Let's read some more. What you got back there, Jeremiah? Hold on, Emo, just 1 second. Go ahead.
This really bothered me. All the guys that I go around that I used to hang with, they always tell me about what I used to do.
Right.
Man, I remember when and all this. And
Right.
I said, what am I doing now? See, they don't give me no credit for now.
Absolutely not yet, but they will. See, they waiting to see if you fall off. That's where it's at. But not only that, Jeremiah, it's not that you're telling them y'all still doing the same old thing. It's your walk that they're not ready for yet. So they want to convince you, your mind, they want your mind to go back here. See, if we're not careful, we'll eventually let that old man come back out of it.
That's what they tell me.
That's what it's an old man chick.
Yeah, they're trying to make you into the if he gonna join into the conversation
like he used to. Well, because boy, when you was man, they're trying to bring that back to your remembrance. Right. You like shit. They got me what you call it, a photo at the police station, and a number. Right. They got me the whole weekend when I used to think like that. And once you start running that, like I say, any drug dealer that know his victims that he sell to, once they say I quit in the heart, they don't come back. They know when you quit in the heart. Because the first thing they're gonna do is ask you to double up. I got triple for what you used to pay for. You better get in on this while the deal is hot. It's like Black Sunday with this crap. You better get in on this. And they're trying to make you go back to think it's a possibility that it won't be the same like it used to be because I'm tripling up what you used to spend all your money on. That means you just going triple in the hole, don't it? Right. What you got out there, bro, real quick?
In the chat, Tyree says, Daniel, is there a difference between the spirit and soul?
Yep.
Major difference.
Huge difference.
They're closely intertwined. They're so close intertwined that you would think they were the same thing, but they showed separation. Because you'll never read where the spirit is being judged. Right. The spirit, the breath of the Most High, and its essence, its image, goes back to the Father, and He gives it to another. He can't give your soul to another. Right. So there's a difference in that when He say that goes back to the Father, that may be why I say this boy. What we're reading in here about Elisha, he seems to have the same spirit. So that spirit from Elijah went back to the Father, and the Father could have gave it to William Burke Jr. here. And now he moves as Elijah in the spirit. But his soul and the original Elijah's soul, both of them going to be at judgment day. Because what they going to do? If it's a problem, you think he going to take the original Elijah? He's like, no, it started before me with the real Elijah. That's his spirit. That belongs to him, not me, Lord. I got that. How you going to charge me like that a second? He didn't clean up his work. That's why I say John the Baptist came in the spirit of Elijah, but there was two different individuals.
Right.
There'll be two different ones at Judgment Day because he talks about them different in the kingdom. And going to the kingdom and being part of the kingdom, the judgment lets you know it's two individuals. So spirit and soul is different. But you would never see, I will judge the spirits unless they're evil spirits that's left over from the giants. And they'll just be thrown in the lake of fire. It's simple as that, y'all, but souls, all souls are mine. As he said, all spirits of mine, talking about flesh or individuals. He said, all souls are mine. Everything is, you cannot touch his soul. That's what he told Satan about Job. So there's a difference in flesh and soul, or spirit and soul. Spirit ignites. It's like you can have spark plugs, you can have all of that, but until that fire sparks that plug, that motor ain't gonna turn. You can have Bosch, best spark plugs in the world. But until that fire hit it and ignites it, it ain't going nowhere. It was the spirit that came over David that he killed a bear and a lion when he was 14 or 15 years old. So he had no problem when he saw Goliath almost 10 foot tall. He like, I just killed a grizzly bear. They range, what, 13, 15 feet tall? This bear, few feet taller than him and bigger and stronger, and it's a wild beast. He like, I handled them like I was playing with a puppet. He like, and he looked around, he like, and y'all ain't gonna do nothing. Just letting them defy God like this. What's wrong? They like, you better go on back up there and watch them sheep and do what you're supposed to do. David said, what they give to the man that'll go out there and handle this business? That spirit on that soul.
That's right.
That's not a powerful soul, because when the spirit leaves you, the spirit left Samson. Was Samson dead at that point? No. Samson just didn't know it had left him. He was a normal man at that point. He was not energized and supercharged anymore. So they put his eyes out and cut his hair off and had him for sport. Then he begged for the spirit to come back on him so that he can do what the Lord originally asked him to do. And he killed more of them Philistines than he did in the beginning part. At the end. But his hair started to grow back, but it wasn't the strength. He begged the Lord, I know I'm going to have to die with him. And I wouldn't have had to do that early on, but I'm cleaning up my reaping and sowing from earlier for letting Proverbs, Sirach 9, he let his women teach him a lesson of jealousy. And she manipulated his jealousy with them first, and he got sold out. But it's about his behavior. He was doing everything that the law told him not to do in Numbers 6 chapter about a Nazarite. He broke every one of them laws. It had nothing to do with his hair getting cut. That was the last straw. He wasn't supposed to touch a dead body, was he?
Nope.
He touched a lion that was dead, didn't he? Mm-hmm. He killed how many Philistines? So if he wasn't supposed to touch a dead body, he was consecrated. But wasn't supposed to drink no wine or none of that stuff. The hair cutting was the last straw, y'all. It wasn't no strength in the hair. He was, if we cut our hair and we're under Numbers 6 chapter, then we violate the rule. Ain't got nothing to do with how long your hair is. Because right now, we should need a jack if it's about long hair. We should just say, hey man, Ariel, I got a flat, man. I see you got them long locks. Lift the back end up, man. That jack ain't working. He should just lift it up while we change the tire. If it's about the strength is in the hair.
What kind of car you got?
Right. Boy, anything in a go-kart, boy, you saying don't come this way. What you got, Imam?
So our job is to live after the spirit and not after the flesh.
Not after the flesh, because the flesh is already marked for death. The soul can avoid death. The flesh is already marked. It's a death sentence that cannot be reversed. That's what we have to understand. This dying cannot be reversed. You can have the perfect diet. You can go to the gym every week. It's still going to die.
Didn't Jack LaLanne?
Jack LaLanne died.
Dr. Sebi?
Dr. Sebi did. So this is what we're talking about. That death sentence ain't going nowhere. You can't eat out of it. You can't sleep out of it. You can't do nothing because it's marked for death. And if you put this dying flesh in a freezer, in 30 days, this dying flesh will stink in ice. To let you know you can't preserve it.
Right.
Don't you go in your freezer and say, well, some in here stank. And it's frozen? How do you smell stank frozen? But you go in there until you find it. Oh, here it is. That pot pie got sailed by 1997. And it's 2000 what? Let's get into this lesson, y'all. What you got right there, bro?
Question.
Yeah.
Noah asked, can Daniel explain Romans 5, 8 through 13 so I can understand it better?
What it's saying in Romans 5, 8, 13.
But God commanded his love towards us in that while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us.
Right.
Much more, then, being now justified by his blood, we shall be saved from wrath through him. For when we were enemies, we were reconciled to God by the death of his son. Much more, being reconciled, we shall be saved by his life.
Yes.
And not only so, but we also joy in God through our Lord Jesus Christ, by whom we have now received atonement. Wherefore, as by one man sin entered into the world, and death by sin, and so death passed upon all men, for that all have sinned. For until the law, sin was in the world, but sin is not imputed when there is no law.
See, and that same thing, Romans 4:15, where there's no law, no sin, because that's what it is. Look, if somebody put out something says unwritten rules, what does that mean? That means they're not written down anywhere, they're subject to change. It's just a general understanding of, yo, we want to try to play fair.
It goes
but it's not written. You know, if you can say, well, what that's written at then? You say, well, it ain't written, y'all. It's just a conscious mind, y'all. We don't want no men coming in here with Daisy Dukes on. That don't have to be written down. I mean, if you ask me where is that written down, but we can show you where that's written down, because a man ain't supposed to wear what pertains to a woman. That's even a whore woman. A woman, period. Because then he's just dressed up like that form of woman.
He might come and be like, well, these some Daniel Dukes.
Boy, look here. No.
So what?
Look at him. If he say that then y'all know the devil done got me.
Yeah.
And to kill me.
Here comes that old man.
Look, to kill me.
Yeah.
Right. But look.
I'm going to be the first to put hands on you.
Look here.
Lefts and rights to the facial and neckle area.
So, and that's what we're talking about. But if we have to see what those are. If those are just not draws because, or jockey strap, them could be the only Daniel Duke on the planet. And I said jockey strap, not a thong.
Right.
Let's read some more.
So we're going back to
Galatians 6.
Galatians
7 through 9. You got another one?
Yes,
Go ahead.
Tobias asked Daniel, do he think Satan deceived the watchers to lust and go unto the women's of the earth?
Yeah, because we get into that what was that, the book of Enoch? When we got into that, is that 60, what was it?
I think 68.
68, you'll see that Satan's army, they convinced them, they went after them and told them, look, man, y'all have a better time. I don't know what you're waiting on. But they knew better and then followed the sin. Shalom, y'all.
Shalom, y'all.
Y'all heard it. Shalom, y'all. Yeah. So they knew what the problem was, and they did worse. Like Judah saw what Israel had done, the other 10 tribes, and they became more worse than them. They were named treacherous Judah. So let's get it, y'all. Galatians 6, 7, and 9.
Reading in the book of Galatians, chapter 6, start the reading in verse 7.
Yes, sir.
Be not deceived.
Be not what?
Be not deceived.
That's impossible. If the Bible is tampered with, you're going to be deceived.
Right.
If anything is tampered with and it says it's true, you're going to be deceived unless you can identify that there's something wrong with it. If you're reading anything that says to wake you up in the morning besides coffee, stick a knife in an electric socket, you're being deceived.
Right.
That's going to wake you up all right. It's going to comb your hair for you and all of it. Let's read some more. Might put you back to sleep. Right, go ahead.
Yah is not mocked.
What is he not?
He is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap.
So y'all, a lot of times we'll see men make vows. Well, the Most High say don't make a vow unless you're prepared to keep it. Yes, that vow may be a law breaking, but the results of that, you have to deal with the vow that they made and the just consequences for that particular vow. Before you attach a law to it, you have to look at the vow that they made, like we're going to get into today. Some vows made about when Benjamin was finna be wiped out as a tribe. There was some vows made that individuals read and believe that those were righteous vows and they tried. And we're going to get on, y'all going to understand it perfectly when we had some Israelites going to the strip club after a feast day. Yo, this is based off of Judges 19. Instead of them looking at it as wickedness, they taught it as righteousness. Because it said a feast of the Lord when the daughters came out to dance. But there was a situation and the vow concerning that, Shalom, AZ, that made the Most High judge it the way he did. It was their vow. Let me see if I can explain this a little bit better so we can get going. Jacob dressed up as Esau, didn't he? Mm-hmm. What did Isaac tell Esau when he came crying and saying, he stole my blessing? What did Isaac tell him? He said, ain't nothing I can do about that. There's nothing I can do about that because I done put it on him and he made a vow that, yes, I'm Esau. So now Jacob, in his conscience, when he consciously lied to his father who he was to get the world blessing that was already belonging to him. His flesh, the devil got up. His soul, it was told in the womb, your soul gets this blessing. His flesh came and then tried to take what was his brother's that already belonged to him. Mm-hmm. It's just like Sarah, you gonna have a son. She jumped the gun and said, let me go get Hagar and do what you say. It didn't tell you that. The instructions didn't tell you that.
Right.
It didn't tell you there's gonna be no surrogate involved.
Right.
Where you get that from? Oh, because you 90 years old, you don't think it's possible with the Lord.
Because remember, she asked, is it possible me being at this old age can have pleasure again?
He told, I'll be back in 9 months and we'll talk then. In 9 months, we'll talk then. So, y'all, there's consequences for reaping and sowing when you don't keep instructions like you should. This is to just do, but you just can't go to a certain incident without reading the whole subject matter of what these men vow. But just like, and I'm saying we're going to move on, 1 Samuel 8 chapter, when Samuel said they want a king, they're not getting at me. The Most High say, I'm going to give them a king what they asked for, but this going to be the manner of the king. He's going to run you. He's going to have you doing this dirty work. He's going to make you captains of 50s and 30s. That's a punishment. He's going to make your women confectionery. He's going to run y'all like dogs. He's going to triple tithe you. They teach that particular scripture to their young soldiers as a plus or as positive when that's as a negative scripture. Right. So they thinking they supposed to be captains of thousands. They're thinking they supposed to pay triple tithes. But that's a curse because they turned down the Lord. He say, Samuel, they ain't at you, they at me. But I tell you what, since they want a king, this will be the manner of the king. You want a king, this is what you get. See, the Lord, be careful what you ask for. Right. Because he'll give you what you ask for. How y'all doing back there, Israel? Y'all good? Sister Mary?
Especially if you didn't make no stipulation in what you was seeking.
Right. So Laban ended up getting Jacob back for what he did to his father. Laban lied to him. Yeah, I'm going to let you go with your wives, lied to him. Yeah, I'm going to give you them, lied to him again. So he got payback right to his face. And the biggest payback, work 7 years for your woman, and then guess who else in the bed when you wake up in the morning? Not your woman you work for.
Right.
You can't complain, can you? You need to think back. Why could this be happening to me?
Right.
What did I do? You know what you did. You know what you did, but that didn't stop the birthright from coming to us because it was already promised to to Rebecca. It was already promised to her. The elder should serve the younger. That was told to her when they were scrapping in her belly before he ever took a first step in them hard white shoes to learn how to walk. Let's read some more, y'all. Let's get into this.
The book of Galatians chapter 6 and verse 8.
Yeah.
For he that soweth to his flesh shall of the flesh reap corruption.
See, is that hard to understand? If you sow to the flesh, what you gonna reap?
Corruption.
You know why? Because it's marked for death.
Right.
I don't care how much silicone you shoot in there. In your lips, in your rear end, in the breasts, and men are now shooting it all in there. Y'all see Tom Cruise?
No, man.
He done shot all that silicone in his face, still trying to look like he was in the first Mission Impossible. But the mission is impossible because that flesh is dying. You ain't gonna never look like you did 15 years ago.
Somebody sent me a picture from 94. I was like, damn.
That's me. Look, and then what you do is do like this in the mirror to see if you can go back. Maybe if I shade it and had a monkey look, the monkey look. No. You know why? Because your ticker is still the same age as your birth certificate.
That's right.
And you can't switch that out. If we could, we'd switch them out with infants every day when we license. Innocence. You think it's sacrifice to Molech now? Let's read some more. Where we at?
The book of Galatians chapter 6, we'll go 8 from the top again.
Yes, sir.
For he that soweth to his flesh shall of the flesh reap corruption. But he that soweth to the Spirit shall of the Spirit reap life everlasting.
What shall he reap?
Life everlasting. And let us not be weary in well-doing, for in due season we shall reap, if we faint not.
See, and that if is a big one, y'all. If we faint not. Right. If we don't get tired, y'all. This is a long war, y'all. You know why? Because it said until you die. What do you think it do until the end mean? Until Christ come back, or you take the dirt now. Yeah. That's endure until the end. You cannot get weak. Your faith can't get where you like, well, I'm old now. The ways of keeping them laws. If you that old and you still concerned with keeping laws, like there's a problem already, ain't it? Yeah. That's like an old fool that doteth. The old adulterer that doteth. What you look like 70 years old up in the club hollering at tenders?
With a leisure suit on.
With a leisure suit on.
I say them big white stitches.
Look here. Change in your pocket and all your business showing sitting there at that bar. Hey, tender, you want a Pepsi? I got some in my trunk.
You want a Pepsi?
Yeah. Rattling keys on a key ring, about 10,000 keys on that ring. You feel it? Yeah, hold on. It take you 3 songs to get to the right one. That's the one. Go look in the trunk. Oh, look here. Mothballs and Bengay and look here. Epsom salt remnants. Boy, look here. And they done convince you to get out there and cabbage patch because they say it's a throwback.
Oh, boy.
Boy, look here, through your back, right? Y'all, let's move on. Because we'll keep going. Y'all, the only reason we laughing because it's true. If it wasn't true, we wouldn't even be laughing. Because immediately your mind go back to an event like that. You like, yeah, I know somebody just like that. You just hope it ain't you. Let's read some more. Boy, look here. Socks with pulled all the way up with your cigarettes in them. And your wallet in the other sock. Boy, look here. Come on, y'all. Let's get this, because we can keep going. Go ahead, bro. Verse 9.
Got them cut off Swedish pants.
Stop.
It's on you, man. I ain't reading. I'm just talking now.
Oh, boy.
Verse 9.
Boy,
Like,
Jeremiah.
no, did we finish that up? We just
Yeah,
want to
we
go
did
down to
that.
verse 9? Okay. Oh, let's read verse 10 of that too, if you will.
Let me get back to it, man.
Yes, sir.
You see it, read that last verse for me.
Verse 10.
Yeah.
Verse 6.
Yeah.
As we have therefore opportunity, let us do good unto all men, especially unto them who are of the household of faith.
See, and it says the household of faith. Yo, this every nation that has faith. Because the Messiah told his disciples, he looked around and he told them, I ain't found what in Israel yet? Faith like this in where? I ain't never, he said, I ain't come across this yet in Israel. It was a Samaritan or somebody else from another. Just say the word, Lord, and I believe. He said, I've been walking with Israel for a little while now. Since I've been a little boy, I ain't heard an Israelite say this yet. That's the household of faith.
Yeah.
Knowing you Israel don't mean nothing.
Right.
Because it's in the flesh. We're talking about blood that was in before you were coming to existence. It's the same blood from Adam. Israel didn't just get this blood. Israel just got the blood covenant, meaning that we can't be miscegenated out.
Right.
No matter who we mate with, they're us. And it's in law in every nation. Or he couldn't sift us from every nation. Let's read some more. That's it on that, y'all. Let's get this last one. We get into the study matter. Jeremiah 17, and we just hit 10, y'all, because we always want to get law involved. Y'all, and this is how we judge every matter, because you can't have the word judge with no law, can you?
Right.
What are you judging?
Right.
If there's no law, then you're going to make up your own law.
But if there's no law, that means there's no sin.
There's no sin, boy. How you can't have both, can you?
No.
It's like church people say, he nailed the law to the cross, then it ain't no sin.
Right.
Why are you pounding on me then? Why are you in my face?
She all like, why
Telling
you
me
in my
about
purse?
save. Yeah. Look, and why you in my purse? Because it ain't no law. I'm getting all this change. I got to go to the laundromat. Where we at? You're right. Go ahead, bro.
Jeremiah chapter 17, verse 5.
What it say, Elijah?
Thus saith the Most High, cursed be the man that trusteth in man.
Right.
And maketh flesh his arm.
And make it what?
Flesh his arm.
Uh-huh.
And whose heart departed from the Most High.
Yes, sir.
For he shall be like the heath in the desert. And he shall not see when good cometh, but shall inhabit the parched places in the wilderness, in a salt land and not inhabited. Blessed is the man that trusteth in the Most High,
Uh-huh.
and whose hope the Most High is.
Right.
For he shall be as a tree planted by the water, and that spreadeth out her roots by the river, and shall not see when heat cometh, but her leaf shall be green, and shall not be careful in the year of drought, neither shall cease from yielding fruit. The heart is deceitful above all things.
What is the heart?
Deceitful above all things,
Uh-huh.
and desperately wicked.
And what is it?
Desperately wicked.
Uh-huh.
Who can know it?
Who can know it? Go ahead.
I, the Most High, search the heart. I try the reins,
Uh-huh.
even to give every man according to his ways and according to the fruit of his doing.
According to the what?
Fruit of his doing.
Uh-huh.
As the partridge sitteth on eggs and hatcheth them not, so he that getteth riches, and not by right, shall leave them in the midst of his days, and at his end shall be a fool.
Y'all hear that? So ill-gotten gain, you're going to leave them eggs for somebody else. Mm-hmm. And usually it's for the feds. Because they come in and get everything back again, all the money. deal on the deal for the plea deal that you may get out to see your great-grandchildren is that you done told us where every dime at.
Right.
If we find a nickel, the deal's off the table.
And you spend all that money on them lawyers.
Look here.
That's where it is.
That's where it is. So
Then
they
you
get it
10
all
years
back.
and think they did a good job.
Boy, look here.
And then they take your car and put police on the side of it
Right.
and parade it around
Right.
in
Your
your
car.
hood.
Yeah.
In the hood that you got caught in.
Boy, look here. Letting you know about ill-gotten gain, y'all. But it starts up here. We just got to be careful that we don't fall victim to saying, but he a good dude, man. Yes, you grew up with him. He's a good dude, love his mama, everything. But he's the biggest dealer on the north side. I mean, where you thinking with the flesh at this point? You thinking because he gave you some gators or he put a watch on your arm or paid your mama's rent, but he a good guy. But he's thinking with dirty money. You cannot bring the price of a dog or the money of a prostitute to the altar.
No.
How you think a pimp gonna come in there with mattress money? Yeah, I hope this feed the homeless and just throw a wad in there. A mattress money? Let's read some more. How we gonna stop the devil at that point? Let's get right into it, y'all. Leviticus 18, y'all. So we went to the understanding of what reaping and sowing was to get a good understanding of that. Now we have to deal with the law because the behavior is not to reap this behavior not to sow this behavior because at the end, this is what you're going to reap with that behavior. So y'all, when we read these laws about that, it's going to apply for a certain position. Why David and Bathsheba wasn't killed and everybody knew it was both of them and they got a child? Don't the law say they should be put to death immediately, both him and her? Yep. The bottom line is some fine language in there, y'all. Did anybody bust in there on them while they were in the act? I mean, you may have known the door was closed, which is off limits, but shalom. Did anybody witness David moves? We ain't got no writings, do we?
I haven't read any.
So all we can do is speculate what happened in there. That's why the parable was given to him, because it's just speculation at that point. Well, we'll get into it, y'all. He's part of our case study today on these individuals, David, Lot, Judah, and Benjamin. We'll deal with these subject matters. Let's get it, y'all. We in Leviticus 18, start at verse 1.
Leviticus. Chapter 18.
Did I have Genesis first? What did I have first?
Genesis 18.
No, that should be an L, bro. Hold on, is that right? No, that's Leviticus. That should have been an L, bro. I'm sorry.
Okay, I got Leviticus 20.
No, I got that too, but it's 18 and 20.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, then we get Genesis. Yeah, right. See, Zeb know me by now. Zeb tried backwards, like what you were saying about, what is that? What is Thomas saying? Hell is turned, what's that?
1134.
1134, you turn it upside down, it means hell. Now, I heard of the dizzy blonde going to the shop and say her 710 light was on. See, when she went out there and she saw the word all on the cap, the way it was turned, if you turn it upside down, it looked like 710. So she say my 710 light is on, and they like, shit, that mean no all. But it was a dizzy blonde joke, y'all. So I heard that one, but I'm going to have to look into that hell upside down. Where we at?
Yeah, that dizzy blonde with everybody here too. Everybody looking closer.
That sounds like Daisy blonde.
Let's get it, y'all. Leviticus 18.
Leviticus 18, verse 1.
Yes, sir. And y'all, the reason we're in here because we started off saying we're in the days of Sodom and Gomorrah and the days of Noah. So we're dealing with the law. Okay. Oh, okay. Lowercase h and backwards e. Okay. That has some tricks too. Thomas always up to some extra. Now that's 17 was bad. Go ahead. But y'all, we just want to go ahead and move forward. But y'all, this is because we're in the latter days, and only instructions we keep hearing: Sodom and Gomorrah and the days of Noah. So y'all, it's telling us the only thing we need to be concerned with of happening in these last days and the laws and the behavior we have to have during this time, or we're going to be caught up in the behavior of Sodom and Gomorrah and the days of Noah. If we don't stay focused on the instructions, what to look for. So we're only dealing with the law from these instructions to keep us out of the way of that, y'all, to keep our soul out of the way of it, because it's going to be all around and our flesh going to be itching and want to take part, but you can't. What you see on TV right now ain't nothing, y'all. Pedophiles are making a move right now talking about, we want to call it less attractive instead of being called a pedophile. Minor attraction. They're pushing for the law. We don't want to be called pedophiles. That's so rude. We want to call minor attracted.
They got feelings now. Right.
But I want you to think about it. They want to lower the punishment. They don't want to stop the behavior. Right. They just want to lower the crime to minor attraction. I'm attracted to minors. Let's get that put on the books. We ain't seen nothing yet, y'all.
That's not natural, man.
Well, look here. Let's read some more.
Leviticus 18:1.
What it say?
The Most High spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel. Say unto them, I am the Most High, your Elohim, after the doings of the land of Egypt, wherein ye dwelt.
Where we were?
Dwelt. Shall ye not do. And after the doings of the land of Canaan, whither I bring you, shall ye not do, neither shall ye walk in their ordinance.
So if you're saying come out of America, flee America, and then you take this behavior out of America somewhere else, what you doing? Ain't no salvation location. No. You can't take that behavior you still bring with you. That's why I say don't do what you learned in Egypt for 400 years. So how you going to take America's behavior over to the Holy Land? It's the same mindset. Ain't nothing changed up here. All you did was move the dying flesh to a new location. But not only that, it's got more wicked because you're cut off from the rest of the world. You got a Home Depot fence around you now. And you got a man leader that we just read in Jeremiah 17 not to have. Don't you like it? That's why everywhere somebody try to build a kingdom is chaos. David Koresh burn up. Children burn up. Jim Jones, what happened to him? That one dude that all his followers had on Nike shoes, they was waiting on the spaceship. Heaven's Gate, Benham E. Carter, Hulan Mitchell, all of the Rockadooshies on Ruthless, all of it gonna end up the same exact way. You're going to reap what you sowed, and you sowed trusting in the arm of a man that sinned just like you.
You can't search for the lost sheep. Out there.
Oh, boy, come on, bro.
Ain't no lost sheep out there.
No. Let's get it.
Verse 4.
Yeah.
Ye shall do my judgments and keep mine ordinances, to walk therein. I am the Most High, your Elohim.
So he said, not only you got to keep them, you got to walk therein. You can't be telling nobody not to sin at the same time you sinning. How you gonna tell them you shouldn't be in here now, this ain't for you, and you just throwed, you making it drizzle at the time you giving these instructions out? Let's read some more. Yes, ma'am.
They say that the children want this. They say that they want a relationship with adults, and they're just happy to oblige.
You're talking about those that's promoting minor attraction, the pedophiles. They say, how a child know what it wants?
Come on, at 9.
See, and notice what the key word is: want, not need. They're never saying a child knows what it needs. They're saying child knows what it wants because it's watching and wanting adult behavior as a child, and it can't have it. It don't need it. It's going to ruin it. They never say, they always say what a child wants. They never say what a child needs. This child said he needs Intercourse with a grown man. Yo, this was happening with John Bonet. That's why they never get settled. You're dressing her up like a grown woman at 5 with lipstick on, makeup, dresses, and you're parading her before lustful men, biting at the lip. And they've been studying the Kabbalah that say as long as they ain't reached 9 years old, they good to go.
But you know what's sad is that, you know, I watched this cartoon, The Family Guy.
Yeah.
And then they got this old white man who always after Chris, the younger son, and they making a mockery of.
Boy, look here.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing, to make it a
Perverted
joke.
old man and-
Right, it's
It's
okay.
okay, yeah, just laugh it off.
Yeah, Chris, come on over.
They trying to normalize
And
it.
they bring the bestiality in with that baby and that dog too.
They
And look,
they
starting
trying
it
to
as a
normalize
cartoon.
I'm Family Guy.
Yeah, they're trying to normalize it so that you make a comparison to something that's of mockery, so it
What
doesn't
was
become
that?
a threatening thing.
That was some show coming on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lamb, it was called.
And you notice the dog had a thing for the mama.
Yeah, he did everything for the mom.
Look, there's something out there on Netflix now called Lamb. It's about bestiality. Yeah, that lamb walking, going to school with a lunchbox. I'm telling you, hey, look, y'all. With a lamb head, but the rest of the body is human. This lamb sitting up in school, I can answer it, teacher. No, I'm just adding on to it, but that's what it looked like.
Netflix called Sweet Tooth. Half deer, half bull.
Yeah.
See, so now it's without excuse that we're getting flooded with the days of Noah and with the days of Sodom and Gomorrah. Y'all, no need to faint now, y'all. We got to wax stronger now. We got to be like Lot now. We got to be like Noah, because you're going to get time to strengthen yourself if your faith is getting weak. Gave Noah 120 years, didn't it?
Yep.
For them to repent too, as well as him to keep focused for 120 years and not to give up and say he was perfect. That don't mean he never was a sinner. That means he kept the commandments as the Most High ordered him to.
And he eschewed evil.
Right, and he didn't make the ark. It said 400 cubits. He didn't make it 350.
Right.
Let's read some more. Where we at?
Verse 5. Ye shall therefore keep my statutes and my judgments, which if a man do, he shall live in them. I am the Most High. None of you shall approach to any that is near of kin to him, to uncover their nakedness. I am the Most High.
So we can't make up what uncovering nakedness means. We have to let the law explain what it means, so we don't get different visions in our mind or our own understanding. Let's read some more.
The nakedness of thy father, or the nakedness of thy mother, shalt thou not uncover. She is thy mother. Thou shalt not uncover her nakedness.
So if you uncover, like what Lot daughters did, they uncovered their mother's nakedness. It's the father. That's her nakedness. Her daughters ain't supposed to do that. That's a violation. Throughout world history, we will never ever see permitted father on daughter or mother on son as ever for any reason justifying wickedness ever. Only the times you'll see brother and sister close together is after sin has been eradicated and the family starts over, because the blood has been washed clean. You tried now, it's so much disease in us, brother and sister get close together, the baby born with no eyebrows and one ear, and you be talking about why? Because you loaded with 23 chromosomes full of sin, and then she is too, and then y'all so close together. It's too many generations of iniquity in there to cause issue. So this is one thing that we have to understand, that when Lot and them came out of there, the reason Moab and Ammon was not given the death penalty is because life has started over. They had been spared through destruction. Just like it started over with Noah, Ham, Shem, and Japheth. But immediately Ham broke the rules as soon as they come out of salvation. You've been saved from, you're the only 8 people on planet Earth. And the first thing pop in your mind, because the devil is still here, is to get with my daddy's wife, which probably was not your natural mama, being that Noah was 625 at the time. Probably was his wife, died or probably another wife. They say it was Naaman and, whoever it was, but whoever it was, he uncovered his father's nakedness after Noah got drunk. So Noah left himself in a vulnerable position of Habakkuk 2:15. He got the bottle put to him and his nakedness got uncovered. Because remember, he became a liquor store owner. It said Noah became a husbandman and planted a vineyard. He deals with wine. He handles wine. He's a husbandman. That means he's a vineyard man. He's an Anheuser-Busch getting off the boat. Did that make any sense? Let's read some more. Where we at?
Verse 9.
Yeah.
The nakedness of thy sister, the daughter of thy father.
The daughter of who?
Thy father.
Uh-huh.
Or daughter of thy mother, whether she be born at home or born abroad. Even their nakedness thou shalt not uncover.
So case example is David's oldest son. Abiahar, however you mention, well, whoever David's oldest son was, that was his son by a different woman other than Absalom and his sister. Absalom and his sister was born from a different mother. Well, David's older son raped his sister of Absalom, but they all got the same daddy, but a different mother. He raped that sister. Not only that, he feigned up here. He had the plot already thickened up here to do iniquity. And Absalom said, he done got at you, didn't he? She didn't want to say nothing. She like, he my brother, which technically he's more brother because they come out of the father's same loins.
That's right.
So he's tighter connected, but he treated her like that, just told her. And then they say he feigned like he was sick. If my sister bake cakes for me, I'll get better real quick. I'll be healed overnight and come. And then she like, wait a minute, the kitchen that way. You ain't talking about making no cookies up under these sheets, is you?
Uh-oh.
And then he forced her. And guess what? Told his servant, get this skank out of here.
Yeah.
Say he didn't last, but look, they say coffee would have warmed up longer than he lasted. And throughout, Absalom heard about it. Absalom say, I'm getting him. I'm going to get him for what he did to my sister. And he loved to drink too, caught him tripping, sipping and laughing. Then forgot about that iniquity in his heart, sipping with his boy. And you know what I tell you what is wrong? You won't have a position. He was like Oprah there. You won't have a position. You don't have a position. Absalom eased right upon his boys that thinking they finna get some position. Just took on, pew! And Absalom let him have the nigga. And that was his brother. And cut him to pieces. This is what this chapter is talking about if you find out this law. For that situation, a sister not of you got a different mom. Still your sister, ain't it? Let's read some more.
Verse 10.
Yeah.
The nakedness of thy son's daughter.
Well, who is the nakedness of thy son's daughter? I got a son, he got a daughter. What's that to me? Let's read some more.
Or of thy daughter's daughter.
Uh-huh.
Even their nakedness thou shalt not uncover. For theirs is thine own nakedness.
That come from you, them your grandchildren. Right. You gonna go in your grandchildren. You can't seek minor attraction on this. Ain't that what we go against Trailer Park all the time with? Yes. Don't we use this against them?
Yes. Inbred.
Huh? Inbred, ain't that what we call it?
Inbred.
And it's telling us those are the laws, y'all, but those laws are coming back. The way of Canaan is coming back into the world at a super fast pace, y'all, way faster than we can oppose it. You know why? Because it's attached to every one of our civil rights issues. They bring that right along with it. And see, you're fighting the civil rights while they're sliding into law. Happened with Martin Luther King, with Bayard Rustin. He was getting it in there. Also, these last few with Eddie Thong out there with Martin Luther King's daughter, and yet he's got a man's got his name tattooed on his wrist. See, it could always be a mistake. That's why we ain't supposed to put no marks on us, even for the dead. How you gonna explain that in this right here? He got your name on here.
On the inside.
Right here. What's that mean, y'all? What it look like with your Hebrew name, and he got that on the small of his back like a tramp stamp?
Oh, we got it on his back.
That means property, don't it?
Yeah, pretty much.
And he out there marching with Martin Luther King's daughter, Bernadette, about this behavior. He's marching right along and know what he's doing. Up here, he knows what he's doing. And when they had him sitting on the law, he's still riding on the law. They got him up on the Ark of the Covenant. They paraded him through. Creflo Dollar tomorrow, he just had an accident. Oh, a rear ender, huh?
Right.
Okay. So they got him up like this. And he on the law, and he looking like this. So the devil got him up on the law, and he's still up here riding law and iniquity in front of the whole congregation.
Yeah.
Next thing we know, his head bigger than 25 inch and his body about like olive oil.
Looking like Al Sharp.
Boy, look here. Worse than that, though. And he talking about he on a new diet. What is
Right.
called?
I'm dying.
Right. What you got, bro?
Ron Lemons says,
Shalom, Ron Lemons, Betty Lemons.
he said, didn't Absalom first give him the chance to restore his sister's honor by telling him to marry her?
That's what she said.
That show
She said, Daddy will permit it, but we can't go this level. This is why we're getting into when behavior is so bad that you offer legal marriage versus the behavior. And this is where we're going to get into Lot offering his daughters. He didn't offer them as whores because the law said you can't prostitute your daughters.
That's right.
He offered it as marriage. And it's a father giving, and they were virgins. It wasn't like he gave his wife, here, take Ethel. I've been wanting to get rid of your ass for the longest. Take her. She complaining about me anyway.
Tired of her. she broke.
Right.
She broke.
Right. Right. Can't fix it no more. Is that good? But Ron, it was actually it was her, the daughter that promoted marriage because she understood the law. Even though it would be bad for us to even do it, it would be better than you raping me. How is that gonna look? See, because when we get into some lost books, you'll see that Dinah ends up as Simeon's wife, her brother. We'll get into that though. But it's surrounding laws for that. The problem is if they had any children, what are we gonna do about that? Let's read some more. Boy, y'all looking at me like, wait, what book he reading in?
Boy, eyebrows, boy.
But she was through after Shechem raped her.
Yeah.
He was becoming a covering for her. You know, it just reaping and sowing the consequences would put the ball back in his court. Right. Like we're going to get into Judah and tomorrow.
He was trying to right that wrong from
Yes, sir.
what happened.
But he had to reap what he sowed. And that was to cause violence you did. Because the first thing Shechem did, he said, get her to me for wife.
Right.
He didn't say get her to me for a whore.
Right.
And they wanted
And
to,
he said, no, we can't marry y'all.
But then they were willing to submit to our Elohim.
Yeah.
And everything. They made the covenant. And that's what Isaac was infurious about. I mean, Jacob was infurious about. It was the fact that they made that covenant and then they went out and did what they did.
Yeah. That's like bringing somebody into the Lord and then kill them.
Right. So he said, y'all bring a bad name upon my name, you know, because now the nation's going to hear about what y'all did, that I'm offered the covenant, and then y'all came right behind that covenant and slew him.
Ain't that what Balaam told Pharaoh? He like, these some wicked people, these Hebrews. You know Abraham lied and said that was his sister and could have got Pharaoh killed. Ain't putting in the missing pieces.
No.
And Isaac did the same thing.
Right.
And did you hear about his brother slayed all the ham after they made a covenant with him, a circumcision? Low down dogs went in there while they had their legs open like they getting a pap smear.
Covenant breakers.
See, that's when they attacked, y'all. That's when they attacked, when they were sore. It said they were sore. And I understand it perfectly because I was 12 when it happened. And I know the soreness they talking about. And you talking about putting it up on grown men, 20, 30, 40 grandfathers, and they got hit like that? Everybody in Fred Sanford walking mode at this point. Everybody walking like a penguin, and you attack them with the righteousness of the Lord. Y'all see what Simeon reaped? And then he got punishment at the end too, because Jacob told him on his dying bed. Simeon and Levi, instruments of cruelty. Y'all can't get the birthright.
Right.
Next, who up next? Judah. Okay. All right, Judah, you corrected yours. Scepter fall in your hands until Shiloh comes. You got it until Shiloh comes. That has nothing to do with it being a priest. This is talking about who has the scepter, who's the ruler of Israel out of the 12 tribes. Who do the nations go to? Who do they seek out? Judah.
The big brother.
The big brother.
The law.
The law keeper, or supposed to be who the covenant was passed to, like Noah passed it to Shem. And still it was Japheth and Ham, now wasn't it? It's still 11 other tribe, but he said, go to Judah. Reuben, you went up into my couch. You did exactly what we reading about here. You went into your little brother's mama, Bilhah, while I was out in the field. Low down dog.
You unstable as water.
Unstable as water.
I was just talking to somebody about that.
Let's get some more, y'all.
Verse 11.
Yeah. Shalom. Theo? Where you at? Oh, yeah? Where? Hawaiian Grill? I'm just messing with you. Go ahead. I'm just messing with you. I'm just messing with you, Theo.
Some chicken wings on the side.
Yeah, go ahead.
The nakedness of thy father's wife's daughter.
Yeah.
Begotten of thy father, she is thy sister. Thou shalt not uncover her nakedness.
And see, when we talk about did Abraham say he went to his sister, so when Balaam was doing all that trickery and lying, she was his niece. She was not his sister. It was just a point that where he called her sister after you reach a certain level. It's just my sister. You just say sister. Ain't that right, sister? See, so we have I call sister, and you say sister after a while, because that's what we be called in the kingdom, sisters and brothers. So Lot is his nephew, but what he say when you start reading that Genesis, he said they got your brother. They got my brother. Brother in the spirit world, because in the spirit world, not in the flesh, we're all brothers in what? That's what we are. Let's read some more. Where we at?
Verse 12.
Yeah.
Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy father's sister. She is thy father's near kinswoman.
13, go answer. Go ahead.
Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy mother's sister. For she is thy mother's near kinswoman.
Who is her sister? Who would that be to you? This next verse gonna break it down. Okay, go ahead.
Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy father's brother.
Who is your father's brother?
Uncle.
Okay.
Thou shalt not approach to his wife. She is thine aunt.
See how it explains nakedness and we ain't got to do nothing extra? Don't go to your father's brother to uncover his nakedness. Now, when you let the dark side teach you like Farrakhan teaching, he said that was homosexual acts.
There's some Christians that think that.
He said that's what happened with Noah and Ham. It was a homosexual act. And when Noah woke up and said, I know what my younger son had done to me, what do you think he did? Reach back there and say, no. This is some ham grease.
Ham grease?
Look, but he didn't curse Ham, he cursed Canaan. Y'all understand this is how we'll get off track if the law is tampered with. Once you believe that they can dictate to you what the crime is and the punishment and the reaping and sowing won't be fair. Immediately Canaan was a wicked son come out the top. Look, I mean, what else you gonna think if he say he knew what Ham had done to him? How would he know? If it's a homosexual act, what does he know then? So you can't listen to Farrakhan. He gonna try to piece together the Bible from his interpretation and then quote the Quran to you. Y'all, that's why we can't be deceived. You can't go in our book with your reasoning and understanding. And your leader didn't do it. Your leader violated every law in the Bible about them young virgins. And you know what his excuse was? And so my seed like David. Oh, you gonna blame this on David?
Right.
David calls you to go into them youngsters and got them on welfare, and you a millionaire. Y'all know Farrakhan living in Elijah's mansion, don't you?
Yeah.
Let's read some more.
Yep.
Yeah, Elijah Poole, his leader, he living in a mansion, not his son Wallace Dane.
No.
Farrakhan living in that mansion by Poole's side, playing that violin, stroking some Tchaikovsky.
And shaking his hips. And you know he was a night
Club.
He was a calypso
Yeah,
singer.
you call him Calypso Louis.
Yeah.
He's
Shaking
just how
his
he learned
hips.
how to play the
He
violin.
used to shake
so
his
well.
hips with the little ruffles on his arms and shit.
Boy, look at
Yeah. With the little thingies on his fingertips.
Calypso Louis. They used to call him.
Little symbols on his fingertips. And doing the Shiva dance, the Hindu dance.
And smile. That's why Jacob used to call him the sinister Farrakhan.
You get that from his white dad.
Not the minister Farrakhan, but the sinister Farrakhan.
Yeah, his daddy white too.
Yeah.
Daddy, what?
Y'all understand what we saying?
That's where you get that from.
Show you for Muhammad and say actually he taught Elijah Muhammad, but he's a white man. But he had to be the devil to come to you and show you. They don't need to keep going in that madness. Y'all, that's what it'll be. We all these forehead wrinkles up, y'all. We got to unwrinkle them. We got to get back to this. Because when your head wrinkle up, that's from bad food. You be, what the hell is this? Who cooked this? Ain't a lick of seasoning on it? Where y'all get this food from, South County? Let's read some more. What's it? Right.
Oh, verse 16.
Pork chops and applesauce. What the hell? Go ahead, bro. I'm just messing with you. Go ahead.
15.
Yeah.
Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy daughter-in-law.
Of thy who?
Daughter-in-law.
Uh-huh.
She is thy son's wife.
Who is she?
Thy son's wife.
Y'all, do we need any more understanding of how it's explaining itself? Of what the nakedness of thy daughter-in-law is? Who it belong to, Elisha?
The son's wife.
Go ahead.
Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy brother's wife. It is thy brother's nakedness. Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of a woman and her daughter. Neither shalt thou take her son's daughter or her daughter's daughter to uncover her nakedness, for they are her near kinswoman. It is wicked.
So wickedness, y'all, it moves to another level when you have the mother and the daughter.
So that would be the case of David, that they say, I'd have given you more if you asked.
See, this is what we're talking about. Those that run that polygamy game, and they say, David, the Lord told David, he said, David, I gave you your master's wives. Well, do you know his master wife was Saul's wives? And you're married to Saul's daughter. Remember, Saul gave David his daughters. Right. So what you're saying now, since Saul is dead and David took over the kingship, he could have now Saul's wife, which would be his mother-in-law, and stay with Micah, the daughter. This is what they're teaching when they teach that polygamy, running for just scriptures, just because all they were searching for was multiple wives. Kings that had multiple. Oh, there it is right there. There it is right there. Ain't did no homework on this law right here that says that's wickedness. And then we ask them, ain't that wickedness? Bible say that's what he did. So you're saying God is unrighteous. Better watch your tongue, Negro, about some extra flesh. Better watch your tongue about some extra flesh.
So please mark it. When they use that, you can refer right back to this law. And simply ask them, was that law breaking or law abiding what David did, if that's the case?
Because who could be David's master's wife? I mean, who was David's master at that time? I gave you your master's wife. Who was the king?
Saul.
Ain't that his mother-in-law?
Yes. So kindly take them to the law. Make them prove it.
They can't prove it. All they'll say is the same thing. Well, see, I've been telling you, there's some contradictions in there. But you agree with that contradiction because it's hip swiveling and movement. You agree to anything that allows swiveling of the hips. Let's get it, y'all. Where we at?
Verse 18.
Yeah.
Neither shalt thou take a wife to her sister,
to vex her, to uncover her nakedness, besides the other in her lifetime.
So we got a problem here. Jacob faced a dilemma. He just had Leah through trickery. But you can't marry Rachel in their lifetime. There's two sisters living together. If you have an argument, what side are they parents going to take? If the two sisters start arguing, what side do the mother and father take concerning this Negro that's got two sisters to wife and is law breaking? Y'all understand what happened to Jacob about what he did, y'all? This is repaying him to his face. You can't have Leah and Rachel and their parents are alive. It's going to vex them. No, Mama, you just taking her side. The daddy the one put me in the bed with him. If y'all get into the book of Jasher, y'all will understand the trickery and the shift of putting Leah in the place. And they say Jacob was full. He was like, y'all could sing them songs that they were singing, hey, Leah, hey, Leah. It didn't sound like that. It had a little rhythm to it. But anyway, Jacob said he was just sitting back. He thought it was just a song. He like, y'all, get to the part when the feast over, because I've been working for 7 years for this. Get to that part. So he was just chilling. He said, I ain't paying no mind till they was saying, hey, Leah. I thought it was just the custom of the people. So once again, we got another piece of information there that marriage is universal. He was getting married under that custom, not under the custom where Isaac and Rebekah was. Marriage is universal. He was getting married under that covenant. It was going to be legal anyway. It was going to be legal when he came back. But he said that was some of their customs in the land like that. Just like the customs here. If you don't want a preacher to say your vows, then you say them. Ain't no law say you got to have a preacher say your vows. He's just a representative. If you don't go to the courthouse, he's the representative for the courthouse. He'll go back to the courthouse and say, I witnessed it. But if you tell him, yeah, you say the vows, well, you held accountable for the vows you let him say to you. And you promise right here, Earl Jr., that you will love her with your heart, mind, and soul. If she goes crazy on you, if she put antifreeze in your coffee, you will not divorce her. You will. And if you go out frolicking with whores and bring STDs on, you will stay with him until death do it part, even though you scratch a hole in you like a heroin addict. I do. You're held under them vows at that point. No. So you say your own vow, and he just recite and sign off on it and take it back to the courthouse. You have your own formal wedding if that's what you want to do, but the paperwork got to go in the court system. So that they even got witnesses in case somebody say, man, how y'all get married? And her husband just got locked up. He only been locked up 3 months. It ain't been 7 years. He's still married. But you can't unring the bell when the honeymoon come before the marriage. How you going to unring the bell? And you calling that marriage? When does the ceremony take place? It ain't never no ceremony, is it?
There ain't gonna be no ceremony after the honeymoon.
Go ahead, Imam.
All this time, when was the law, the 613, written during this time? Were they not looking at the commandments and laws and stuff? Somebody just said.
What they asking?
They said, are these laws covered in the 613?
Yeah, we just read it. We're in Leviticus 18 and Leviticus the law. Deuteronomy, y'all want to get into Deuteronomy 22:28?
Talk like what we read.
We get into Genesis 38, y'all. We going to the law, Exodus 22. Can't divorce a virgin. Look, y'all know the term where the term shotgun wedding came from. Shotgun wedding came from Exodus 22:16. If you trick a virgin, you cannot divorce her for life. Look, there's divorce clause, but divorce clause for tricking a virgin is off the table. You have to stay with her for the rest of your life. You can't sell her, you can't do nothing if you trick a virgin.
What you mean by that?
If you trick a virgin, meaning like how we used to hear in the ghetto, I popped her cherry. And then you going on to pop the next cherry. So now she can't be given as a virgin to a man that rightfully looking for a virgin because you got cherry badges all over your chest.
You a cherry fellow.
Yeah. So, yo, we're trying not to be graphic, but we're trying to make you understand the law in layman's terms. So now her father, which in Numbers 5th chapter, if there was some confusion, he brings the wedding sheet. The father would get the sheet. After all the honeymoon is over, the maids go in and fold the sheet up and give it to the father. And he holds that sheet in case it go to court. And he go to court and he put an evil name on her like these men do. She wicked. She wicked. She wasn't no virgin. She wasn't no virgin. I needed a 2x4. So she wasn't no virgin. Tied to his back. So he would take the sheet and the priest would examine it and they say, this hymen blood, you lying on her. Give him the punishment for bringing up an evil name on the woman. Yo, we had laws in place to where you just couldn't trick a woman like that. Trickery.
So I think Jacob is why the Most High had Jacob stay with the one sister because he was tricked into that marriage, but knew that lust would come into play as far as him wanting the other one. So it was his permissive will that he got to marry.
Well, tricked himself into that with what the trick he did with Isaac. Saying I'm Esau. So it's payback. So you got to pay for what you did. You did an everlasting curse. Now you finna get an everlasting curse put back on you. Go ahead, Emo.
According to that, I'm looking at with these different camps and they're saying these different things with that, and they're doing these wicked, evilly wicked stuff. But they're not looking at what they're doing is against the 613.
The very law, and that's why the script says they dress up their modern day Pharisees.
Yeah.
They're not even doing the law of Aaron. It said they're just sitting in Moses' seat. They just occupying. They can just have right here and keep the commandment. They just sitting in there. They didn't even read that. They just sat there in it. It's like church today when you see it. You got him up there and there's 2 whale men on the side. Ain't got no understanding. Deacons and novice staffs. All their job is just to say well.
That's why.
And the Lord is good. Wow.
That's why they go to Aaron because they can look the part.
Yeah.
See, that's an earthly priesthood that they can look like.
Dressed up like it.
It's a fleshly priesthood that they can dress up like they can have the appearance.
Wow.
They can sit in a seat like Moses. They can act the part. But the order of Melchizedek has no appearance.
Yeah.
It has no fleshly appearance.
No.
So they can't resort to the order of Melchizedek because there's no outward appearance to profess that.
It's on the inside.
That's right.
Everything about Melchizedek comes from the inside. Moses, Abraham never wore fringes. Jacob never wore fringes. Fringes didn't come to middle ways into the desert. And they came about disobedience. But the Holy Spirit been there from the beginning because it moved across the waters when the world was being created. So we're back to Melchizedek, that the Holy Spirit is an eternal gift that you cannot treat. Like what we call them children, they get everything and just tear up everything they did. You know, like small children, they tear up everything and just don't care about nothing, take it all for granted. Privilege, so to speak. But they're taking the privilege and using it the wrong way, y'all. So we have to understand, y'all, these things. It's going to tell itself according to the law. And we're going to get into this morning, y'all. We just keep rolling. What else? We got no more questions, man? What we had last year? Yeah.
Okay, 19. Also, thou shalt not approach unto a woman to uncover her nakedness, as long as she is put apart from her uncleanness.
What does that mean, y'all? What? Leviticus 15 chapter, law. You cannot rush her. Damn, is it still dang what? Dang, you gonna bleed to death. You can't approach a woman and force her. And look, this is how wicked, when you disobey and your flesh is lusting. Most homosexual men and stuff, when they tricking somebody, they put a fake pad on and tell them, I'll give you the rear end. And they say that's why they went for it. She said it was that time. And that's why when you still breaking laws, because even if it was that time, she's still on that time. You just going in a different position or a different area. And it's making it even worse.
Even more unclean.
Because that's an exit, not an entrance. Thank you. Where we at? Go ahead, bro. Y'all, but y'all been heard it. Ain't nothing that I'm telling y'all. Come on, she said she was on her period. Well, what they got to do with sex at that point? Sex is off limit at that point. Do you know if a woman have a boy child is 40 days, you off limits. If she have a girl days, it's 80 days, you are off limits. How long 80 days? Is that 2 months? 2 months. 2.5 months. 2.5 months. You're going to have build-up, men. If it's a boy, only a month and 10 days, half of that.
Meditate on the law.
Those are the rules to keep you in check so you gird the loins of your mind and not have to keep worrying about this flesh down here. Let's get some more.
Verse 20.
What it say?
Moreover, thou shalt not lie carnally with thy neighbor's wife, to defile thyself with her.
And neighbor means anybody that's keeping the law, statutes, and judgments. That's coveting. What that last one up there say? Thou shalt what?
Not covet.
But we see covet earnestly the best gift.
Yes.
So that means coveting means there's a line that says you can't covet your neighbor's stuff. That's what it keeps saying. You can't covet what belongs to your neighbor. You can't say, Lord, why you won't give me a car like his? Because he's works. You're not working.
Right.
I'm not going to give you a car note and this, and you're not working. You're not going to have the car he has but a month.
You can pay for that car. You can.
Lord, I wish I had a wife that looked like her. Why can't I have a wife that looked like his wife? Well, you don't know what goes on in that house when the door's closed.
Hello.
You'll hurry up and go back for what you got. Where we at?
Verse 21.
Yeah.
Thou shalt not let any of thy seed pass through the fire to Molech.
To who?
Molech.
Neither
shalt thou profane the name of thy Elohim. I am the Most High.
So everything must be, we can't even bear false witness against the devil. Sacrifice of Molech is planned. The husband and the wife planned the pregnancy that when 9 months is over, we both agree we will give the baby to Molech as a sacrifice and to the fire for a blessing for both of us. The abortion clinic is not sacrifice to Molech. It's just covering bad fornication behavior, because married people usually don't go to the abortion clinic unless it's a health reason. The mother or the baby gonna die. But individuals, when they go, what? $275 for what? You're on your period. What? I told you there was some cheap prophylactics I bought. Hell. So it's a mistake that you go there. That's not sacrifice to Molech. That's a mistake in fornication. And then they start flying. You said you was on the pill. You said you weren't going to do nothing but put the covenant in. And here we go. But the problem is, lust has conceived now. And what we going to do about that? What we going to do about that? So that's not sacrifice to Molech, y'all. We have to keep Molech instructions with Molech instructions. The devil have instructions that he give out. He'll tell you, them ain't in my instructions. Go ahead, brother.
Abortions ain't righteous unless you've been raped, though, right?
Well, it all depends on the law. We got laws about that. We got laws about that. That say if you take a woman, if you rape a woman out where we was camping at, she shall be forgiven, but they're going to kill you. If you rape her at the Walmart around the corner on West Florissant, where everybody there, everybody in the aisles, and she rape it and she don't holler out, then she's part of the conspiracy you just met at Walmart's. Because she's supposed to holler out. Everybody can hear, who that? Somebody get away. Who is that woman hollering? But out in the field, she can holler and nobody will hear her. Y'all, the laws, ain't no shortcut you can take on the Most High and say, we got it. We got it because we done moved out of two witness catch you. We out of earn. It's up here now. This gonna catch you. And he's gonna judge that, and he's gonna show you thinking, your wheels turning. And thinking about, yeah, I'm gonna trick the Most High. See, I'm gonna go Leviticus, then I'm gonna back that up with some Sirach. Lord ain't gonna be able to kill me. Lord ain't gonna be able to judge me. Okay. You fooling yourself. It's the intent of the heart. What is the initial intent that you move? And it's to fool the Most High. Let's get it, y'all. Where we at?
Verse 23.
Yeah.
No. 22.
Uh-huh.
Thou shalt not lie with mankind as with womankind. It is an abomination.
That's an abomination, y'all.
Can't be no pillow biter.
No, none of that. And that's what we just read up before. You know, when they talk about, and you make an excuse, you still trying to lay with them as womankind. Let's read some more.
Neither shalt thou lie with any beast to defile thyself therewith. Neither shall any woman stand before a beast to lie down thereto. It is confusion.
What is it?
Confusion.
Y'all see what's coming on the earth. Confusion is coming at a high level, y'all. Bestiality is ramping up at a whole nother level, y'all. Just had a woman, do you know they actually had to put her out of the zoo and told her she couldn't come back? She's driving the monkeys crazy. She would lift her dress up to the glass while wasn't nobody looking. Somebody Google that real quick. Woman thrown out of zoo for tempting monkeys. It'll pop right up. So they finally start wondering why these monkeys going crazy. Why these monkeys going crazy? What are they confused about? What's going on? And they run them films back and she heisting it up, ain't got a sign of underworld.
Looking at monkeys.
Look here. Right. That monkey say that monkey ought to be back here behind that glass.
Right. Monkey's looking at that
monkey. Boy, look here. Lysa, you said it. I just said it out loud. Let's get some more.
But see, that's just like that story Jacob covered on the Walk on the Dark Side and had that dude and that dolphin.
Yeah.
For 6 months, and then they separated and the dolphin committed suicide. I think it drowned or something.
On ridiculousness, look, on ridiculousness, you see a dolphin, they show a commercial that a dolphin is just working over an individual between their legs. They always show that. Y'all, these animals, because they deal with instinct, y'all have to understand, they don't care an animal, and that's where we can't go to animal lust. Because it's just instinct. You could put a dress on that pole, and if that lasciviousness on like that, you will lift it up.
What's under that?
What's under that?
Good enough skirt.
See, that's lasciviousness. That's when it done went to the point that it don't matter. Wherever it happens, you want to be involved. Let's read some more.
Oh, boy. You see, a dolphin came on to him.
Boy, look here. Ain't that something? But y'all Google that and see, don't that pop right up? Hell, that one but 2 months ago. Woman put out of zoo tempting monkey. There it is. What it say?
There it is right there. It said woman banned from zoo after 4-year affair with chimpanzee.
That's 4-year affair.
He loves me.
Oh, that's the, but she wasn't that. I got that, but she wasn't raising her skirt up.
Boy, look here.
She's blowing kisses and stuff.
Look. Y'all ain't got the film footage.
Oh boy.
Shalom, Gaddy. Let's get it, y'all.
Verse 24.
Yeah.
Defile not ye yourselves in any of these things, for in all these the nations are defiled, which I cast out before you.
So all this belongs to other nations' behavior. So y'all, Sodom is not. It's not the behavior. Sodom is just a city named after a king. It's the behavior that was going on in Sodom. Sodom is not, when it says sodomy, that's not technically it's the behavior that was performed in Sodom, in the land of Sodom. Lot lived there. So how bad could it have been before when he first moved there? It just got that way.
It just became just the ways of the people. It became commonplace.
Yeah. It became like LA and the 5 cities around it. Let's read some more.
Verse 25.
Yeah.
And the land is defiled, therefore I do visit the iniquity thereof upon it.
Hold it right there. Y'all read the rest of that. Let's just jump down into 20. We're just going to hit a few of these and move on, y'all. I want to get to the heart of these in this last hour. Y'all don't want to get caught short again. So go ahead, Elijah. Move right to Leviticus 20. And we're just going to start right at, let's start about 10. Absolutely. Said I got that mark.
Leviticus chapter 20, verse 10. And the man that committeth adultery with another man's wife, even he that committeth adultery with his neighbor's wife, the adulterer and the adulteress shall surely be put to death.
See, and this is why the Messiah had to implement Melchizedek on that order when the Pharisees brought the woman. See, they were just sitting in Moses' seat there. And the words out of their mouth was, we caught them in the very act. So they bust the doors open. You know how people say they got the drawers snatched off of them? They bust in and say, we snatched the drawers off of them. And the Messiah looking around like, well, what a man at? Who did it say going to be put to death right here, Elijah?
Both of them, the adulterer and the adulteress. And
here you Pharisees supposed to be the lawgivers? And you ain't got the man. You know why? Because he was the one with the brick in his hand. He got to hurry up and get her silenced.
Or he was one of the Pharisees.
Same thing, got a brick in his hand. Look, if you was involved in a current crime, you couldn't even come to the stoning. Understand what I'm saying? If you're involved in adultery, you can't go to an adultery stoning and get a stone. You're off limits. You're already on punishment. Right. How you gonna go and throw a rock at somebody's head and you on the chopping block's neck?
You convicted felon for the same
For the same thing. Let's read some more. Where we at?
Verse 11. And the man that lieth with his father's wife hath uncovered his father's naked.
Did we just read that in Leviticus 18? Yes, sir. Second witness for that. Go ahead.
Both of them shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them.
Now we got to ask, why did Reuben not die?
Right.
What happened with Reuben was allowed to live? Because, look, 1 Corinthians 5 tell you it's not known in Israel that a man should have his father's wife. It shouldn't be found in Israel.
Right.
1 Chronicles 5 said David went up into his father's couch. When you get into Jubilees 20, it breaks it down. It go into the part of how he plotted it. It say he couldn't even sleep.
Yep,
until he had wrought that deed.
He said that lust was committed.
And look, the fornication was right there. It was going to be over in 30 seconds. Look, Bilhah was drunk and passed out, and she just woke up when he was running back through the door. Huh? So he didn't get no response.
Right.
That was like necromancy. He was just like on the dead something.
Right.
Because she woke up, who was that? Who was that? And he run out the door. So he couldn't look his father in the face for 7 years. He didn't eat no meat for 7 years. No common flesh. That's when you don't eat no meat. When you done something you ain't supposed to be doing, you don't eat no meat. Now what you doing that you ain't eating no meat?
Can't eat. Conscience is tore up. Spirit is vexed.
Everybody you see there, Elijah, when they in trouble like that, they don't eat no meat. They cut off the pleasures to let the Lord know, I'm truly sorry about this. What pleasures you been into that you cutting off? You ain't eating no meat and commanding men to do so. What you up to?
It's just like when your mama catch you, she know you done something wrong. She don't know exactly what, but she know by your behavior, he ain't eating. He ain't doing the things that he loved to do.
Come on to dinner. Why you ain't eating?
What's wrong with you?
Look.
Nothing. Something's wrong with you.
Yeah.
You ain't doing this. You ain't doing that. You ain't doing this.
Right.
What's wrong with you?
Like when me and Ed Hallman was stealing up there at the 5 and 10 and a fight broke out. That's the only way we broke out. And I'm high looking out the project's windows in the backyard. It's 2 p.m. in the summertime. Mama come home from work. What you doing in the house? Nothing. What's going on? What you looking at the window? Nothing. What you done did? Nothing. If I find out, I'm beating your ass. She found out a week later and beat my ass. Go ahead. Where we at?
Yeah. Verse 12.
Yeah.
And if a man lie with his daughter-in-law, both of them shall surely be put to death. They have wrought confusion. Their blood shall be upon them. If a man also lie with mankind, as he lieth with a woman, both of them have committed an abomination. They shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them.
So you can't be homophobic unless you're saying, I'm in the image of God. If you see, y'all, it's how we word things. But you go in the office, they don't call that fag Jenny. His name James. You ain't make me say that. They like, no, we can't make you say it. But we can make you leave this workplace and you can go somewhere else. You have to know how to deal with the law of this Bible and how to answer these matters. Be wise as a serpent. But what? To yourself first.
That's right.
You mad at this law like that because that individual is like that? Lot was in there. What are you talking about? How you gonna put your job on the line about something we studied about already that was corrected? What are you talking about? I wasn't gonna do that, and I told him, okay. Just put it on the line like that. Look, I'm a Christ follower. I follow the Bible now. We can take this to court. They're gonna make me put my hand on it, and it's gonna say the same thing because I'm gonna give the chapter and verse. And then when we get through writing this, when you suspend me, I'm going to put my name down here, and then I'm going to sign right underneath that without prejudice, and we'll take it to court. Y'all understand what without prejudice means and the power it have behind your name. And when a judge asks you what without prejudice means, you cannot say, I don't hate white folks. That ain't without prejudice.
Right.
That means I don't understand all the language you're asking me. And I don't want to condemn myself or bear false witness against myself. So I put without prejudice because it ain't been explained to me like I can see it. And I don't want to just put myself on the line and sign something and y'all come back and say, you did that. No.
I don't understand.
Sign it with that. That lets them know I don't have a lawyer present. And I may be reading language. And it may be a trick bag here. So I'll present the trick bag. And watch what happens when you do that. What you got, bro?
I don't think someone was clear about what y'all explained in Leviticus 19. Sister asked, does that go for me giving my grandchildren a bath when they stay the night? Is that like uncovering my daughter's naked?
No, this is all sexual. See, these are sexual crimes. That's a washing a baby's rear end. That's totally different.
That's nurturing.
That would be the same thing. Look, who gonna change their diapers? You like, shit, I ain't gonna do it. That be breaking the law.
That was just like the question that the sister asked some months about caring for her son who had been shot or something, and she had to clean them and things of that nature.
Right.
And
you have to take care of your parents.
That's taking care of your child. That's caring and nurturing your children. I mean, it's the natural thing to do for the parent or the guardian.
It's not physical, it's spiritual.
It's spiritual.
So a baby, if you can't uncover his nakedness, who gonna change that pamper? Shit, it's been 2 days, it looked like a rack of pool balls in it. Who gonna uncover the nakedness?
Not only that, the baby start getting sick and then there's problems for the baby.
Look, and it's gonna create, you're gonna need more Desinex.
Yeah.
So, but no, we're talking about intercourse. This is what it's talking about, the behavior of intercourse. It's not talking about taking the clothes off nobody, because if your uncle stand there and let you undress him, it's a problem, ain't it?
Right.
If your auntie at any event, you just start pulling her clothes off and you think that's just uncovering the neck, it's a problem with understanding the flesh. You're looking at it from flesh side. No, but you can get babies a bath up until their certain time. And look, the problem would be if you're undressing in front of a child, if he starts staring at you, a boy child, and he keeps staring at them and say, what's them? You can't dress in front of him naked no more. He's starting to be concerned now with what those are. They look different than when I used to suck on them. They got a different look now. What are those? So you have to, at that point, turn your damn head. Then. But now he can't watch TV while you get dressed no more. Because he's curious now.
Right. He's curious, and now you need to get a baby some Similac.
So, yeah, well, he's too old now for Similac. We're talking about 5-year-old. So we're talking about when they start to get of age where you can't just be walking around naked in front of them like that. To the point that where the devil is messing with their younghood. Because a young man, if the wind blow, he's in full position when you're young like that. And any men that been called to the chalkboard to work out a problem, when you've been daydreaming, you're like, I'll take the F. I'll take the 0. Because soon as you walk up there and pants sticking out, all the girls, look at him. You're like, no, I can't come to the board. You know how to work these. I can't work it out now.
That's when you slide that hand.
Shit, look here, boy, look here. Walk up there. Boy, look here. Y'all, these real life events.
Yeah.
All praises, sis. Let's keep moving, y'all. We got to get caught up.
What verse am I on?
Got one good hour, y'all. Want to get through these scriptures. Yeah, go ahead.
14.
We're going to stop at 15, like. 16, yeah.
And if a man take a wife and her mother, it is wickedness.
Is what?
Wicked.
See, that past sinning, y'all,
Right.
that means this is a behavior that is worthy of death at this point. It's past sinning. It means that lust has overpowered you. Mm-hmm. That you look at your mother-in-law the same way you look at your woman. You can't make no threats. You better tell your mama, quit walking by me in that negligee with that hole in it. I'll tell you, better tell your mama. Look, you living in her house. This a problem already. How is she walking by like that? You in her house, living the baby, talking about what she doing in her house. Boy, look here. Look, people most comfortable in their raggedy gear. Don't raggedy gear move to the emergency drawer? Look, you got 10 pair of drawers. 7 of them are still good. Them 3 pair move to emergencies. These, when the 7 get dirty and you just down to emergency, you can't really trust them, but they drawers.
Right. He said, they come in your loins.
Yes, sir.
That's all they do. They draw
But some may pop out or some may slide down because the elastic is warm. All I'm trying to say. Let's get some more. Women use it for that time. They don't throw them away. They save them pairs for that time. Let's read some more, y'all. Real life talk, ain't it, y'all? Yeah. Let's read some more.
Real talk radio. 14 again. And if a man take a wife and her mother, it is wickedness. They shall be burnt with fire, both he and they, that there be no wickedness among you.
So we can hold that. Y'all read the rest of that, but we just want to get into the law of what we're talking about because we're talking about the days of Sodom and Gomorrah and the days of Noah, what was included in those days? What went on regularly? Swapping, bestiality, supernatural intercourse, intercourse with the dead. Y'all, all of these are what's called you got sex magic. That's supernatural instructions on how to bring your flesh to a more exciting pleasure. They got something called autoerotic asphyxiation. You strangle yourself and at the same time whooping yourself like it owe you money, and you strangling yourself at the same time. To be to the brink of coming and going at the same time.
What happened to David Carradine?
Kung Fu was found hanging like that.
Yeah, he turned the wrong way.
Y'all understand what makes, next to the Holy Spirit, this is a powerful spirit that's on earth that Satan has been using since heaven. He didn't start with it in the garden. He started it in heaven. It was spiritual fornication when he told them, I'm going to take over, y'all. We're going to have fun up here, some pleasure. What you want? You want 10 of them female angels? Because it's female angels. It has to be. Because when they asked him, the woman had 7 husbands, who wife is going to be in there? Said, no, they're going to be like the angels. brothers and sisters. So what that mean about a sister? You're saying it's a male angel up there that they call a sister? Or is it women angels? Zechariah 5:9 will tell you that it's women angels up there too. But just like it's a male-dominated, so to speak, hierarchy, so to speak, they're not talked about all the time. When they are talked about, it's in a motherly situation or a nurturing situation because it has to keep it at mother status. That's why when they start talking about a widow, once you get past 60, y'all, you have to really look at how she has to be treated and what has to go on for her. She can't be thinking, I want me a young buck. See, she can't start thinking I'm going into cougar mode. That
sounds like a sick cat.
Well, it is a sick cat. But y'all, let's move on.
Actually, that sounded more like Little Bow Wow.
No, you off today, Ged. No, bro, you be full of rotten fruit. Boy, look here. Boy, you'll get the Apollo hook right now, Ged.
Yeah,
let's get some more.
Sandman coming out.
Or we just ain't understanding, Ged. Just make them look a little more clear. Yeah. Let's get it, y'all. Genesis 6:1-8 real quick. Genesis 18 and 17. Then we're going to jump right into Joshua 18, just the last verse in 19. And then we just hit in this last hour Judges 19 because Benjamin did worse than what they did in Sodom and Gomorrah. Do you know the Benjamites was beating on the door telling sent some men out here? And these weren't even angels.
And that tribe almost was wiped completely out because of their wickedness.
Where we at? Genesis 6:1-8, real quick, y'all.
So use it.
Because we are in the days of Noah, y'all. That's what the Messiah told us what to look for. Y'all ain't no needing us. What now? Because we know the books done already passed same sex. It changing gender and kind. So now, y'all, what's finna hit us, what we got to be prepared for, is what your eyes is about to see, the legalization of bestiality.
It's already started in some countries.
Yeah.
Some countries in Europe where it's already on permissible on the legal books that they can marry their pets.
That one chick in India married her dog.
Well, look, if it's on the books, I can't be called male or female. What a punishment go then? I'm not a human anymore up here in my mind. So me getting with a beast, I'm a beast now. I've changed my name to Fluffy Johnson.
Hey, but
look, King Merriweather. I'm king now.
But look, here in America, they have this thing because this white girl that I work with.
Yeah.
She into this. I don't know if y'all ever heard of this flurry stuff.
No.
Furry. They dress up like animals and go to these conventions and they dress up like animals and they get involved.
Right.
And she like, have you heard of furries or flurries? So I'm thinking it's like a chia pet or something.
Yeah.
And she like, no.
7-Eleven got a new slush. Yeah. Go ahead. What you say, boy?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
But she's like, no, it's a group of people. We get together and we make costumes and we have conventions. And so she started showing me pictures. I'm like, what the hell is that? And she's like, it's not what you think.
See, it's the wrinkle of the forehead. It's the countenance that let her know what he was thinking. Go ahead.
So immediately she goes, it's not what you think. And I'm like,
see, it's not what you want.
What is not what you think? And so I asked, I said, what is it I'm thinking? I said, because this looks real strange. She said, well, people that hear about it say, we dress up like this and have events to have orgies.
That's all it's for.
And so I'm looking at her like, that's the first thing that came to my mind. What will cause you to do this stuff, man? Why? She like, no, we just like to get together and have fun and dress. She like, and these are my costumes. I say, so you deliberately make this stuff to do this?
See, it hides the
boy,
behavior.
I don't want to hear no more.
See, it hides the behavior. If I dress up like a dog and you dress up like a female dog and we get together, it's no sin because we're dogs. It's not. Even though up here, it's bestiality up here. Up here, it's bestiality. You understand what I'm saying? That we're trying to get around. If I can't get with a dog, I'll dress like a dog and be like a dog.
I only have to keep the commandments when I'm in my regular.
When I go to dog, I'm on instinct.
Dude, so around Halloween, she came to work dressed up. I don't know what the hell. I'm like, what the Versace is that?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh shit, she's moving to a whole nother man. What the hell is going on there?
But see how she easily tried to slide it in to see where his mental was. She was waiting on the response of his countenance. Right. Boy, if he had a smile like the Grinch who stole Christmas and almost swallowed his ears, she would say, and I got 3 free tickets for you right now. But he had a different look. No, it wasn't like that. It was like he had belched the White Castle. He's like, what is this?
Well, I told her that shit's wicked. That looked like some wicked.
Boy, look here, Elisha. And look, think about that. That's at your job. What are you going to do, quit work?
No.
The job say she can't proselytize that, but if she's talking about it and do that, she couldn't recruit him. She wasn't recruiting. She just slipped him something to see how he responds.
But so now I sit at a whole different table.
Yeah.
She eat my lunch, or I just eat my lunch in my car. Right. Because she one of them white girls that if you sit there, I'm gonna come and talk to you. No, you ain't gonna come and talk to me. No, that's over.
Right.
That's over.
Yeah.
Trust me, that's over.
Right.
Conversation is over.
Right.
So because I said that's some wicked shit, and then I said a couple of choice words to homosexuals. I didn't know she was gay too.
Oh boy.
Because she married and she got children. Boy. And then we got to talking about something. I was like, oh, that's some old faggot. Boy. That's a pillow biter. It's my supervisor. He bust out loud. He like, Will, she gay, man. I'm like, she got a husband and children. He like, she got a girlfriend too. I'm like, oh, she way left field.
You got to be careful, y'all, on them plantations, y'all.
You have to be very careful. So
you have to be careful.
I had to realize I have to watch my language because me just saying faggot, that's a hate crime.
Yes,
now
it
for
is.
them. And she could utilize that against me.
Unless you know what faggot is. Man, I was talking about what faggot is in the dictionary. A bundle of wood. If you look up faggot in the dictionary, it said a bundle of wood tied off. To be burned. But
and,
look,
and that's what the scriptures say.
But at least
have to be burned in the fire.
But at least you can kind of get back on track and think I almost blew it there. Y'all understand what I'm saying? So when you say it, at least have the alternative to say, man, I was just talking about that from that perspective. You were talking about a bundle of wood. I don't know no other faggot. Look it up in the dictionary, y'all. It'll tell you what it is. Look it up. If you look it up in the dictionary, right now, if you look it up, you'll see what it's saying.
We got to be wise as serpents and
harmless as a dove. What you got, Getty? Because we got to move on, y'all.
Instead of being reported to H&R, Human Resources, you could just say, just being in accordance with Ephesians 5:11.
Yeah.
Which eloquently stipulates.
Yeah.
Here we go. And have no fellowship with the unfruitful work of darkness.
Absolutely.
But rather reprove them.
Yeah.
I.e. break them off.
Yes, sir.
You need glass.
No fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness.
Right.
And you say, see it, wouldn't want to be.
And look, and what we're talking about is fellowship, y'all. That means to come into allegiance with. That don't mean you can't talk to nobody or you can't be sitting next to somebody that may be gay or anything. It just says you can't come into fellowship. Right. Fellowship is what we're doing. Right. It means we come into a set of laws. That's just, you can't get into a set of laws, statutes, and judgments concerning that behavior. You can't come into fellowship with that. It don't mean, because, hell, we got family members. We got different things. Family members into everything. Got family members that kill people. Got family members that did this and did that.
Right.
It means you just can't join into what their crime is in fellowship. Y'all go on here? Okay, all right. Let's get some more, y'all. We got to get caught up. Go ahead. Where we at?
Genesis 6:1.
Yeah.
No. Genesis chapter 6, verse 1.
What it says there?
And it came to pass when men began to multiply in the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them.
You gone, Emo?
Shalom, Emo. Y'all be careful out there. No, Emo, you took care of
I'll call you.
Verse 2. That the sons of Yahweh saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose.
Of all they did what?
Of all which they chose.
Uh-huh.
And the Most High said, my spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he also is flesh. Yet his days shall be 120 years.
So that's when it got cut down from less than 1,000 years of a day to our existence. Now we balance out. If you live 120 years, you lived a long time. But that's minus 900 years. They were living 800 years longer than that. And you talking about we living long. Now we down to 70 years, and we champion that like you done lived some time. You ain't lived no time.
Right.
That would be like them just getting out of Pampers.
Right.
70 years.
Right.
Where we at?
Verse 4.
Uh-huh.
There were giants in the earth in those days.
What was it?
Giants in the earth in those days.
Uh-huh.
And also after that, when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men.
What they do?
Came in unto the daughters of men.
Uh-huh.
And they bare children to them. The same became mighty men, which were of old, men of renown. So
this the problem. You got some groups out there that teach that these sons of God were Adam's seed after Abel was killed. It's Seth's line. These are the sons of God. Well, who are the daughters of men? Okay, those were Cain's daughters. So the problem is now race mixing causes giants. That means every time a Hebrew man get with another woman of another race, that child should be a giant.
It's supposed to be a whole bunch of giants. Right?
A whole bunch of giants. They should be giants if that's how you're looking at it. And then you say, well, if it means men of renown, you still got the height of Goliath, called a giant, being measured out almost 10 feet. And then you got Anakim and the other ones who they say we were like grasshoppers looking at them.
Right.
So giant, there were literal giants that say his sword was this, Goliath's sword, say his helmet was big as a 40-inch TV. His sword weighed almost 180 pounds itself. His sword was because of such a big, powerful man. And they say he was a champion of the Philistines. Other nations have champions. Larry Bird was a champion, wasn't he? Mm-hmm. You may not like him, but you let him alone out on that three-pointer, you can count it.
You can count it. You ain't lying.
Look, that boy from Milwaukee now, that Hamite. That Hamite won the championship last year, didn't he, for the Bucks? Akeem Olajuwon was a Gentile Hamite champion, but champions reign in Israel unnumbered. It's always going to be 5 or 20 to 1 of their champions. It's always going to be multiple champions of Israel. When you see that one, he named Chris Little, that run the 100-yard dash, I'm talking about when you see Hebrews struggling trying to keep up with him, it's almost like a phenomenon when you see a white man running that fast. You be like, the hell with that UFO special they talking about. We seen a white man run 100 in 10 seconds. We need to see that. Because that's more, you like, wait a minute, something changed here. What his name, Little, he was out of university. I'm talking about keeping up with them brews, y'all. And then they had some Chinese dude that was keeping up with the brews. Every nation has a champion. This nation called a champion, ain't it? Mm-hmm. A champion win wars, ain't it? Who the champion of planet Earth? Who else dropped nuclear? Who else talking noise about dropping nuclear? I'm not talking about, I'm talking about did it. Who's the champion of killing? Let's get caught up, y'all. Let's get caught up really quick.
Verse 5.
Yeah.
And Yahweh saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually.
You see where he judged the world at based off of what? Read that verse again.
And Yahweh saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination.
Every what?
Imagination.
Where you imagine things at? In your mind or in your flesh? So it say continually just think, wake up thinking evil. I mean, how you just after a night of dreaming wickedness, did you wake up thinking it? Go ahead.
And that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually.
Continually in his heart.
Yeah.
I mean, it don't matter what it is, you got an evil side for.
That's really weak.
Yeah, they gave me a promotion, gave me $5 more an hour, lousy mother. Should have been 6. Yeah, look, continue evil. Look, if you $500, why you wish it could have been $600? You $500 ahead. 500 ahead. And you saying, why couldn't it have been 600? See that? See how we are in one of the whole thing?
Sounds like a stimulus package to me.
You getting close, but you got 2 buzzers. Go ahead, where we at? Get another one, Sandman coming. Go ahead, where we at?
Verse 6.
And the hand on the buzzer.
Yeah.
The buzzer.
Where we at?
Verse 6.
Yeah.
And it repented the Most High that he made man on the earth. And it grieved him at his heart.
See, it say it repented the Most High. So this lets you know repentance is not talking about sin in the sense. That's what you ask forgiveness for, is for the sin I did. Repentance means I'm turning away from something that I said. And see, it repented to Most High. Say it turned away his heart the way that he said, I created this individual. Look at him now. Look at these out of control children. These children going to work with my creation. But that's what happened in the heavens. Y'all, that's what happened in the heavens. You can't teach a man down here on earth unless it's some practice that's already been involved with. And it wasn't the righteous angels that taught that. It was the wicked angels that taught that. How to make instruments of war. Where did the idea come from? If it weren't for Revelation 12, the war in heaven. They just brought it down to the earthly realm, how to kill each other. Kill your brother when the scripts say love your brother.
Yeah, lawbreaker.
Let's read some more.
Verse 7.
Yeah.
And the Most High said, I will destroy man whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast, and the creeping thing, and the fowls of the air, for it repented me that I have made.
See, it make the Most High, it repented me, make me want to turn back on what I created. I got to turn back on this. It's not after my image anymore. So he like, I got to turn from this and cut it off. I got to kill it off. And it said the fowls and everything. Was that the baby girl, bro? Yeah. Boy, I done got that tall. What's up, baby girl? Hey. That was y'all? Wow. Look, she just in the 2nd grade. See how tall he is? It ain't just...
Two ball look like what? 2nd grade.
Cause he was about that tall in the 2nd grade. AC boy. Where we at, y'all?
Verse 8.
Look. And see, he's a youngster. You know how you can come out in front of company in your drawers. I'm like, shit, ain't he in high school? They're like, no, he just 2. Where we at? Go ahead. Where we at, yeah?
Verse 8.
Yeah.
But Noah found grace in the eyes of the Most High.
So how long grace been around, y'all?
That's the beginning.
What did he find? Grace. So it's not about works lest any man should boast. It's that mercy of grace, unmitigated favor back then like it is in the future. When you're saying I'm saved by grace, this is truly saved by grace. Because you got through the flood. You can't say you saved by grace yet. The Antichrist ain't got here. We ain't went through none of the real Sodom and Gomorrah yet. And you holler, you saved? Right. No, let's read that. You can hold that, bro, real quick. Because we need to move a little bit. Y'all get into Joshua 18. Y'all write this down. And this going to match up with the Lord coming to Abraham, telling him he's finna destroy Sodom and Gomorrah. And there's Abraham saying, if there's 50 righteous, will you destroy it? Regular angels don't make decisions like that. They just come do what they told. But the Messiah was negotiating with him. He said, if there's 50 righteous, I'll destroy it. Now, y'all think about 5 cities. Think about Kinloch, I'm just doing this range. Jennings, Wellston, St. Louis border right there, and what is Pine Lawn? You ain't got 50 people in there keeping the law.
That sounds about right.
But I'm just telling y'all know how many people per city, and you can't get 50 out. That's 10 per city you can't get out of that 50.
Right.
Then he said, what about 40? He said, if it's 40, 30, 20, 10. Abraham stopped at 10 because Lot, his wives, and his children was there. Right. If you say 5, Lot had 4 daughters, not 2. Right. And they were married, 2 of them. So if he got his 4 daughters, his wife and him, that's 6. So he couldn't go down to 5.
Right.
Didn't want to hear that. Right. And he said, look, the righteousness know what it is. Abraham stopped at 10. He like, what, you mean to tell me wickedness is to this level? There's not 10 people in the city of St. Louis that's keeping the law? There's not 10 people in the city of Florence that's keeping the law?
That's what a remnant. Exactly. That's a remnant.
So y'all, that's in Genesis 18 down when y'all get there and y'all see when the angel went. But Abraham is negotiating with the Lord. And guess what the Lord eating when they first met up? Meat. Hospitality. He cooked meat for them. Mutton and lamb and made some unleavened bread real quick. This the law.
With some butter.
Isn't that Genesis you talking about?
Genesis 18.
Yeah, Genesis 18.
Joshua 18 is when it gets into day-to-day detail. It breaks it all the way down, but Genesis 18 gets into it too. That's where he said, go fetch something to eat, and said the Lord did eat. Joshua just go into the details of that conversation. So y'all, since we right there, we're going to get right into Joshua 18 because y'all, we got to get into Judges 19. I want to get into that to handle these situations and then about why these Israelites thought it was safe to go to the strip club after a feast day because Judges 19 say, and in the days, the feast of the Lord, they went to the dancing. There was girls that were dancing. Look, if you wonder about those step shows, this is how they changed the order of it. Women would just, perform entertainment during feast days like Sarah, House of Nat Turner. She has a dance class. They practice down her time. They always perform on our feast day, perform at the Passover. So that's all it was talking about. These Negroes took that and had them boy throwing coins and all table money at them heifers. They like, who are these broke Negroes dressed up like priests? I'm talking about ashtray money. I'm talking about blunt remnants on coins they throwing in. Shake some.
Is that what they tell us?
Yeah.
Shake some.
Shake something.
Boy, look at it. Let's get it. We're in the book of Joshua, y'all. The end of the 18th chapter. We're just going to read a little bit of the 19th chapter. Then we're going to get into Judges 19 and see what Benjamin was doing. Because this going to get into what Lot was witnessing. Boy, y'all, I'm telling you, if you looked out your front window and you saw somebody just stop, it ain't like you call the police because it's a car out there and you see activity, the windows fogged up. I'm talking about you ain't got to wonder what's going on. They got the trunk of the SUV open like they tailgate, getting it on in front of your house, and it's legal. Let's get into the book of Joshua, y'all, 18th chapter, right at the end, last few verses of 18, then we go right into 19. That's on you, ain't Isaiah? Yeah. Okay. Tell you what, start at verse 11 and 18, then we'll jump down to right down to the end of it. But let's just get right into See, and when you get into Jasher 18:2, it says the same thing Genesis 18 do, because we see verse 6, Abraham ran and took a calf tender and good and hastened to kill it and gave it to his servant Eleazar to dress to fix. So it's going into the same story. So we right on point with what's happening, but then it's going to tell him, because the Lord came, he said the sin of Sodom has reached up to heaven. Can you imagine? Now we see fog on TV, and you heard about how Los Angeles smelled like piss. But this smell has risen to the level up to God. He smells it now. He like, boy, it stank down there. And they say New Orleans on, what's that street? Bourbon Street or something like that. It smelled like what? Smelled like grease and butter and... I'm talking about used grease and butter. And the Lord smelled it, and when he could smell wickedness, he said, it's stinking up here now. It's beyond. It's been corrupted to earth. I got to get rid of that whole city. Ain't no need in trying to clean up this part. Everything got to be, like when mold get in your house, ain't nothing you can do with the drywall. Look, when mold get on the walls, you can't do it like a piece of bread and scrape that mold off and then still cook it. You know how somebody in your home, you be scraping it off. Yeah, that's good bread, boy.
34-cent worth of bread.
That ain't number 4 times.
In the silver.
Let's get it, Joe. Right. Go ahead, verse 11, Elisha.
This is Zebediah.
Zebediah, I'm sorry.
Book of Jasher, chapter 18, verse 11.
What'd it say?
In those days,
Yeah.
all the people of Sodom and Gomorrah and the whole 5 cities were exceedingly wicked and sinful against the Most High.
Against who?
Against the Most High.
Uh-huh.
And they provoked the Most High with their abominations. And they strengthened in aging abominably and scornfully before the Most High.
Uh-huh.
And their wickedness and crimes were in those days great before the Most High.
It say the aging in this. Now here a man, 90 years old, barely can walk, and he got on a loose thong with a dog collar around his neck.
That's called a string.
I mean, his thing baggy is. He got on nipple rings and a Zorro mask, and he's the agent, and he's still involved with this. Oh, if y'all think I'm lying, all you got to do is do Jerusalem Gay Pride Parade and tell me what y'all see on that when you see the age. I'm talking about wrinkled up. What drawers they got on? Got so much room around because their legs so skinny. And they into this, old as they ass is into this. Let's get some more, y'all.
Verse 12.
Yeah.
And they had in their land a very extensive valley, about half a day's walk, and in it there were fountains of water and a great deal of herbage surrounding the water.
Uh-oh.
And all the people of Sodom and Gomorrah went there 4 times in a year.
Freaknik.
With their wives.
With their who?
With their wives.
Uh-huh.
And children.
Boys and girls.
And all belonging to them. And they rejoiced there with timbrels and dance.
And see, and that's when you go like every big Super Bowl party, all of this, they going to these places, y'all, and the first thing they want all them football players is about the hoop, the loose women and the con game, and don't be a trick.
Right.
Don't get caught up that coming to the All-Star game for this. Y'all see it every day, but we concentrating on the game. But there's some dark activity that's going on that they warn these players about, and some of them still get caught up in it. How, y'all? They pay for cars for them, but that lust demon and that pride that I got money and I can do what I want to do, I don't have to listen to nobody, and they get caught up. Here they is on the front page. Look, had the owner of the Patriots on Front Street. He up in the massage parlor, hollering, yes, yes. Aging into this life. How he caught up this late in the game and you on film You owning a team and you in here pulling these stuffs.
He's been doing it.
Been doing it. Let's read some more.
Verse 14.
Yeah.
And in the time of rejoicing, they would all rise and lay hold of their neighbor's wives.
What law we just read about laying hold on your neighbor's wife? See the crimes that's being committed? Go ahead. What else it say?
And lay hold of their neighbor's wives. And some the virgin daughters of their neighbors. And they enjoyed them.
What they do?
Enjoyed them.
Wait a minute.
He sound like he's
look here. Boy. See, that sounds like the way he sounded like wasn't no more candy left and he found a Reese cup. Didn't he? Go ahead, bro.
And each man saw his wife and daughter in the hands of his neighbor and did not say a word.
What did he not say?
A word.
Y'all understand what's going on now? What's happening in Miami and Atlanta when they call it Freaknik? This go way back.
Yeah.
You see them in the hands of another man. What you think they finna do with them? Take them to the beauty salon?
They gonna mess their hair up.
Boy, they finna mess their hair up. Boy, look here. Go ahead, Zed.
You wanna keep going right
Yeah, just going down to 19.
All right. Verse 15.
Yeah.
And they did so from morning to night.
How long they do it?
From morning to night. And they afterward returned home, each man to his house, and each woman to her tent. So they always did 4 times in the year. Also, when a stranger came into their cities and brought goods which he had purchased with a view to dispose of there, the people of those cities would assemble, men, women, and children, young and old, and go to the man and take his goods by force.
Jacking.
Strong arm robbery.
Jacking going on. And so the old folks jacking. Children jacking. We just had a crime like that the other day. A man taking a lady and her 11-year-old son to the store. At least that's what he said was happening.
Right.
And the 11-year-old jacked him, hit him with a pistol across the head, and he telling the mama, get your children, get your child. He bad like that. Stop hitting that man with that pistol.
But you saw what happened, right?
What?
The dude saw the son at a store, called the police, and they held the boy in the store, and then the mama showed up on the outside. They locked the little boy up for stealing.
Yeah.
But they trying to say that they let the mama go.
Right.
Even though the dude was there talking about, that's her and that's him. And
right.
They was like, well, no, so it's something funny with that.
Something going on,
you're
y'all.
right. He probably wasn't just giving them no ride.
Oh, look here. He was looking to do some ride.
There you go. But the way she looked rolled
Oh,
hard.
boy, look here.
You say she looked
rolled hard and put away rough. Look here, y'all.
He was tripping and they were jacking.
Yeah.
Some things just ain't adding up what happened in the car.
That's right.
Let's read some more. Where you at, bro?
16.
Yeah.
16. And go to the man and take his goods by force, giving a little to each man until there was an end to all the goods of the owner which he had brought into the land.
So y'all check out all the rest of that, y'all, because it's going to get so wicked, y'all ain't going to believe what was going on in Sodom and Gomorrah. These are day-to-day events. Right. This is why the wickedness was going up there. I want y'all to understand young and old. I'm talking about 8, 9 years old, carjacking into this food, and then you got a man 80 and 90 years old pulling the same behavior. You talking about being just like your daddy.
Right.
He wasn't nothing, you ain't gonna be nothing. This where this come from, but it's coming from bad behavior. Every time a woman say that, it's bad behavior, ain't it?
Yeah.
It ain't like his daddy a lawyer and you a lawyer, and she say your daddy ain't nothing, and you ain't gonna be nothing. You like, mama, but I'm paying all your bills. It ain't that. What she's talking about, you gonna be just like your daddy. It's down in the gutter, ain't it?
Yeah, but it's boy, you mess me up because you keep saying something about these old men.
Oh.
Now I got that picture of them wrinkly legs, them big ass drawers.
Boy, look here. Enough space around them, boy. Look, if a draft come here, had pneumonia. I swear it's COVID-29.
God.
Wind blow all this.
And then y'all get down into chapter 19, which we're going into. Let's hit a little bit of this Sodom and Gomorrah destroyed. We just want to get into that 18 so y'all can see why men was rushing there to partake in that. You got to be extra careful, y'all, when you talk about going to New Orleans and being down there. And they warn you about what? Jacking, don't they?
Yeah.
Let's read some more. Shalom out.
19.
Yeah, start at verse 1.
Book of Jasher, chapter 19, verse 1. And the city of Sodom had 4 judges to 4 cities. And these were their names: Serach in the city of Sodom, Sarkad in Gomorrah, Zabnak in Admah, and Minion in Zeboim.
Right?
And Eleazar, Abraham's servant,
applied
to them different names, and he converted Sherach and Sharaka.
Two Sharaka. Chakra Zulu. He can't go ahead.
To Sharaka. And Sharak had two
Shakura.
Just read that already.
Go and read all that. Verse 2 for him.
Verse 2.
Yeah.
And Eleazar, Abraham's servant, applied to them different names, and he converted Serach to Shakul.
Now, does that change the individual because he changed their name?
No.
Go ahead.
Sharkad to Shakrura.
Is it the same individual?
Same person.
Go ahead.
Zebnak to Kizobim, and Minan to Matzlodin.
Go ahead, Zeb.
Verse 3, and by desire of their 4 judges, the people of Sodom and Gomorrah had beds erected in the streets of the city.
What they have erected in the streets of the city?
Beds.
Now you talking about Donald Trump putting up the wall, erecting a wall to keep the Mexicans out. Who gonna stop these beds from being erected in the streets? Yo, they already letting us know they putting billboards up now, giant billboards, and you can give a gift to this person like her, whatever you want to have on a giant billboard. Y'all been saying that?
Yep.
Oh boy, look here. Let's read some more.
You said it was by desire that they had these beds erected.
Go ahead, bro.
And if a man came to these places, they laid hold of him and brought him to one of their beds. And by force.
And by what?
By force. Made him to lie in them.
So, what do y'all think by force made him to lie in that? Do you want to talk about, I'm talking about man rape on Delmore and Kings Highway when the sun is shining. Right there on the corner, you sitting at the light. And they looking at you like, the hell you looking so shocked for?
Right. Make me pull you out of that car.
You ain't heard what the laws been changed in America? You looking like that? Oh, he must have just got out of jail. No, he couldn't have just got out of jail because he still wouldn't be looking like that. Right. He must be new around here. Don't know what's erected on the street. Because y'all talking about erected. That don't mean they're temporary. They're permanent beds. Like they got these scooters on the street corner. Yeah. Picture that on every corner, but they beds. Let's read some more.
And as he lay down, 3 men would stand at his head and 3 at his feet and measure him by the length of the bed. And if the man was less than the bed, these 6 men would stretch him at each end. And when he cried out to them, they would not answer.
Now, you know you can't stretch a human being to 6 feet.
Right.
So you know it ain't talking about that. Ain't no stretching technique like that. I don't care if 200 men grab hold of me, I ain't gonna be tall as Jeremiah walking out here. Boy, that'd have me in some high waters, wouldn't it? So you know it ain't talking about that. They stretching his legs open.
Yeah.
What you got back there, bro?
You know they talking about no law and order either. Ain't no 911.
Ain't nothing. Police. The judges in on it.
The judges did it. And it was their desire
Let's
to erect these beds.
What it say?
Verse 5.
Yeah.
And if he was longer than the bed, they would draw together 2 sides of the bed at each end until the man had reached the gates of death. And if he continued to cry out to them, they would answer him, saying, thus shall it be done to the man that cometh unto our land.
See that? This what you get when you come into this city.
Right. This is how we get out.
This how we greet you. This is hospitality.
This hospitality here.
Part of the initiation.
So when you get into the wisdom of Solomon and you talk about, when it talks about in the wisdom of Solomon, chapter 10, 19, it say, the Sodom and Gomorrah, their hospitality was totally left field. Like Abraham just greeted the angels, and like Lot greeted the angels. This ain't the way they greet you when you come in their city. No. You going where? People would tell you, going where? No damn well you ain't going out there.
I wouldn't be going.
Hell, look, we got problems. So you tell somebody you going through Kinlock. Let's read some more.
Verse 7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when the men heard all these things that the people of the city of Sodom did, they refrained from coming there. And when a poor man came to their land, they would give him silver and gold and cause a proclamation in the whole city not to give him a morsel of bread to eat. And if a stranger should remain there some days and die from hunger, not having been able to obtain a morsel of bread, then at his death all the people of the city would come and take their silver and gold which they had given him.
That's what they pulling on us now, giving out all these food stamps and ain't no meat in the store.
And look, getting it right back, y'all. But we're going to jump down to verse 24 for time's sake. Y'all read on down to 24, but this is after Lot's stuff has been recovered and different things. So we see that Sodom is the kings of Sodom is rough and lop up. But we're going to get right down to verse 24. What it say?
At that time, the wife of Lot bare him a daughter, and he called her name Pilpah, saying, because God had delivered him and his whole household from the kings of Elam.
Right.
And Pilpah, daughter of Lot, grew up, and one of the men of Sodom took her for a wife.
What did he take her for?
Took her for a wife.
So Lot's first daughter was married, so the two that left him were not married.
Right.
Let's read some more.
And a poor man came into the city to seek a maintenance, and he remained in the city some days. And all the people of Sodom caused a proclamation of their custom not to give this man a morsel of bread to eat until he dropped dead upon the earth. So and they did so.
So y'all read the rest of that, but you're going to see this daughter of Lot taking care of this man against the rules of the city. She was sneaking and feeding him, y'all, because that's how she was trained by her dad. So y'all read that, all the rest of it down. Y'all, we're going to get on down to verse 44. And y'all, we just going through because we run out of time, and I want to get into a little bit of this Judges 19. Go ahead.
Verse 44.
Yeah.
And the Most High was provoked at this and at all the works of the city of Sodom, for they had abundance of food and had tranquility amongst them, and still would not sustain the poor.
What would they not do?
Sustain the poor and the needy.
How we this hungry and McDonald's still throwing away a trash can full of burgers?
Right.
Just because they say the temperature done dropped on. Let's read some more.
It still would not sustain the poor and needy. And in those days, their evil doings and sins became great before the Most High. And the Most High sent for two of the angels that had come to Abraham's house to destroy Sodom and its city.
Right.
And the angels rose up from the door of Abram's tent after they had eaten and drunk.
After they had done what?
Eaten and drunk.
See, and we know what they was eating and drinking, right? Because Genesis 18 told us, go ahead, these angels eating, go ahead. Meat, go ahead.
And they reached Sodom in the evening, and Lot was then sitting in the gate of Sodom. And when he saw them, he rose to meet them, and he bowed down to the ground. And he pressed them greatly, and brought them into his house. And he gave them victuals, which they ate, and they abode all night in his house.
Right.
And the angel said to Lot, arise, go forth from this place, thou and all belonging to thee, lest thou be consumed in the iniquity of this city. For the Most High will destroy this place.
And see, Lot had instructed, if you don't leave, you're going to be destroyed with this place. Now, a lot of them will use that flee Babylon, this same thing right here, but the bottom line is he was laid out by angels' hands, so we got to wait to be laid out by angels' hands because he said, I must send my angels to gather y'all. Lot didn't just leave and figure out his own path, because we're going to read some more and see what happens. Let's read some more.
And the angels laid hold upon the hand of Lot.
What they lay hold of?
The hand of Lot.
Uh-huh.
And upon the hand of his wife. And upon the hands of his children. And all belonging to him. And they brought him forth and set him without the city.
Right.
And they said to Lot, escape for thy life. And he fled, and all belonging to him. Then the Most High rained upon Sodom and upon Gomorrah and all the cities, brimstone and fire from the Lord out of heaven. And he overthrew the cities, all the plain, and all the inhabitants of the city, and that which grew upon the ground. And Adu.
And who?
Adu, the wife of Lot, looked back to see the destruction of the city.
So now we know Lot's wife's name instead of just calling her Lot's wife. Her name was Ado.
Right. Ado. We don't have to call it the pillar of salt.
Right. She just turned in it. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Look back to see all the destruction of the cities, and her compassion was moved on account of her daughters, who remained in Sodom, and they did not go with her.
See, because they were married. Remember, the first were married, so two of them that was virgins came out. The other two remained in there. They with their husband. Oh, mama, I can't leave him. He's like, look, this place finna be destroyed. But something about Sodom kept them there.
Yeah.
Let's read some more. What else to say?
Verse 53.
Yeah.
And when she looked back, she became a pillar of salt, and it is yet in their place until this day.
And you can look up it right now. He's got the Zondervan right there. If you look up Lot's wife, you'll still see the pillar of salt. That's still there to this day. It's still there. It's in that book. Keep reading while you look for that. Go ahead.
And the oxen which stood in the place daily licked up the salt to the extremities of their feet. And in the morning it would spring forth afresh. And they again licked it up unto this day.
So all they do was lick that salt of her dead body, and then every part they licked up, it come right back. It ain't going nowhere. Go ahead.
And Lot and two of his daughters.
And Lot and what?
Two of his daughters that remained with him fled and escaped to the cave of Adullam, and they remained there for some time.
Right.
Adullam is Edom.
Yeah.
It's on the right up there, right there.
If you look at this, it know it's kind of far away, y'all, but this is in the Zondervan Pictorial Dictionary, and it shows that they call it pillar of salt, the mountain of salt on the western shores of the Dead Sea. This pillar of salt is known as Lot's wife. There it is, to this day. You see it? Keep reading, Zed. We ain't got long, y'all. I just want to get into that 19. Go ahead.
And Abram rose up early in the morning to see what had been done to the cities of Sodom. And he looked and beheld the smoke of the cities going up, like the smoke of a furnace.
Yeah.
And Lot and his two daughters remained in the cave, and they made their father drink wine.
What they make him do?
Drink wine.
So now we're into Habakkuk 2:15. Go ahead.
And they lay with him.
And what they do?
They lay with him. For they said there was no man upon the earth that could raise up seed from them.
So this was their excuse for laying with their father. But their excuse was from Sodom. Their imagination was from Sodom, because what was the trick first? They didn't just do it while everybody was conscious, did they?
Right.
What did they have to do first?
They got him drunk.
They got him drunk. And some people, man, you can't get that drunk. Yes, you can.
Yeah, you can.
If you wake up and somebody say you looking for your car, you can't remember where you park your car, that's a problem starting off. If you can't remember how did I get here, then how you gonna remember if something happened? Yeah, when you start getting up in the age, you start asking, did we do something last night?
Explain why you don't things up on this.
The picture of Lot's wife again, I ain't getting a shot.
Okay. Yeah, find that again, but keep reading, Zed.
For they said, there was no man upon the earth that could raise up seed from them.
See,
For
because
they thought that the whole earth was destroyed.
Because the 5 cities around that they was used to, it was completely wiped out. It was still burning, leftover burning like a lake of fire. You know what I'm saying? So they like, our Father, we're gonna die, and ain't no other man on the earth, so we gotta do this. But no, y'all thinking about something else because y'all think y'all doing a righteous act. No, y'all, because y'all brought in slick talk first.
Right.
Daddy, drink this. See, they was pulling R. Kellyism and Bill Cosby back then, but with drink. So is this blessed wine? That the critic, oh, that was blessed wine.
You got it on? Yes, sir.
Blessed wine getting you past 0.08. What else to say?
And they both lay with their father.
Uh-huh.
And they conceived and bare sons. And the firstborn called the name of her son Moab, saying, From my father did I conceive him. He is the father of the Moabites unto this day. And the younger also called her son Ben-Ammi.
Yeah.
He is the father of the children of Ammon to this day. And after this, Lot and his daughters went away from there, and he dwelt on the other side of the Jordan with his 2 daughters and their sons. And the sons of Lot grew up, and they went and took themselves wives from the land of Canaan. And they begat children, and they were fruitful and multiplied.
And they were what?
Fruitful and multiplied.
So now, like Akradale asked, what's the difference in what David did versus what Lot's daughters did? They uncovered their mother's nakedness. Their mother dead, so they thinking, so everything is going off the thought process how the Messiah is judging this. Most High is judging this. Our mama dead, our daddy ain't got no more children. It's just us 2 daughters, and every man on earth is dead. Okay, we'll take that into account. There still must be punishment for getting them drunk, because if it was righteous, you wouldn't have had to do that. And y'all know it ain't righteous. And how we do when we was youngster? What was that stuff called? Spanish fly?
Yeah.
Slipping. Mickey.
That stuff didn't work.
No, it didn't work, boy.
And boy, the way they used to talk about it, boy, I was on a mission to try to find
Right,
it.
look here.
Man, I couldn't find it nowhere, man.
Yeah.
Boy, I was on a mission, boy. Spinning fly, where is it? Where did you get it?
Look here. Want to do some Mickeying, some Sodom and Gomorrah. Y'all understand how it could creep into your psyche when it's talking about getting it illegally, rendering a woman unconscious and not in her natural state so you can have your way with her? Y'all have to think about what this is doing, that when these things happen. So they did it. Ham did it. They got drunk. What's going on? So they did it. But the punishment is for them is because Lot, for one, you got to get this for drinking. But that offspring going to be punished. It had to be an extension of Lot's life to go on. Lot could have got with somebody else, but the children are already here now. They just born in fornication, Moab and Ammon. So illegal fornication, Deuteronomy 23, when we get into it, it tells you why they got to wait 4 generations. And not only that, they didn't accept the brothers coming through when we was coming through the wilderness. They blocked the way, so punishment for that too, but they were not put to death because of that act. What David did was a whole nother level because David is a king. And not only that, he did it in the broad daylight. He had zero regard for it. So to prevent the child from being with no hope on earth, because everybody would have been about how he was born. The only reason they couldn't get at him about Solomon about that is because Uriah was dead, and then he legally married Bathsheba and had Solomon. But that first son was put to death on the 7th day, so he didn't get circumcised on the 8th day to bring him into the covenant of the laws, being born in adultery. So the Most High say, well, the child ain't done no wrong. We're going to send him straight to the kingdom. Because if the child didn't go straight to the kingdom, David fasted and prayed and said, he can't come back here, but I'm going to do what? I'm going to go to him. Where is he at? You can't say he's in a lake of fire and David say, I'm going to him. You understand what I'm saying? David said he can't come back on this side of the world, but I'm going to him. And once they told him, yeah, the child dead, but the child died in innocence. That child didn't have nothing to do with Bathsheba and David. That child can't be held accountable on how he was conceived in this world. Some of us conceived in the backseat of a car at a drive-in. Where is that written? But you hear it? We're going to hold there, y'all, with that punishment, because that punishment did not fit Leviticus 19:29, where a man is not to prostitute his daughters even to himself. It can't be Exodus 22:16 because he can't divorce his daughter because he can't legally be married to her. You understand? So you can't use them scripts. You have to use exactly the same instance because it happened to Noah in the same exact way. Canaan is the son of Ham. And the land of Canaan was promised to him, and that land has been cursed ever since because of that behavior. He came out the womb from that perspective. So that's his just dues. Why that was a little bit different? The Lord, based on what was happening at the time, made the judgment to save a life or end a life. But we have to get back where we was, because if David was put to death, then Jeremiah 23 is null and void, ain't it? For a branch got to come out of David, no? Yep. If David dead, how that prophecy gonna come to pass? See, that's how crafty Satan is. But he told David, you ain't gonna get off the hook, but you gonna wish you was dead. Your wife's gonna be taken in front of you, in front of everybody, and his son did it. So his son did uncovered his nakedness, like he did his neighbor.
In front of all Israel.
In front of all
set
Israel.
beds up on top of the roof, so all Israel could see it.
But you know what David did when he truly repented? We talking about truly repenting. He never allowed those women. He never went into them again, because a father can't go behind his son.
Right.
So he put them away as widows and took care of them their whole life. They didn't have to worry about nothing to eat, because he said, that one was on me. I caused this to happen. His son killed him, black on black, or Judah on Judah crime. Yep. And it continued to happen because of what David did. So the Lord didn't let him off. He knew David's heart, though. He knew David would accept his punishment. And if him being king and the whole nation saw him accept his punishment, maybe we would accept our punishment like that and take our just dues for our crime. Right. Because Nathan grilled him, didn't he? He said, what you do to a man if you found it? He said, I'll kill him right on the spot. He like, it's you, player. Oh. It's me? Yeah. He like, the Lord know about that, though. He said, yeah, the Lord know. Lord know. Lord can look into the room of an undefiled bed. He don't look in a rightful marriage. He don't look in that room.
And David didn't try to put it off on nobody else.
No,
that woman that you gave.
No, sure didn't.
He did. Oh, it was his fault. He did this.
Right.
No, he accepted.
Right.
He accepted his unrighteous behavior.
Bathing out there.
He acknowledged his sin. Therefore, he was apt to change.
Yeah. How much time we got? I want to get just a little bit of this Judges 19. We're going to about 5:15, y'all. Let me get this Judges 19 real quick. Y'all read the rest of that. But real quick, I want to just hit these law real quick. Just one hitters, y'all. Give me Exodus 22:16 real quick, y'all. We just need the law for what we're finna talk about. Somebody read that real quick. Exodus 22:16, Leviticus 19:29, and Deuteronomy 22:28. If we read them real quick, then we're going to hit this Judges, just a little bit of this, y'all. We're going to get through. And if y'all going to see a tribe of Benjamin about to being wiped out, we ain't going to read the whole thing. We're just going to get right into it. And because this is where these unrighteous camps use this to trick young men to think that they can go to the feast of the dancing girls. It wasn't a feast of the dancing girl. It was the dancing girl dancing and praising the Lord at the Feast of Tabernacles. But the vow to the king, the vow the men made after they put the judgment down, they made a vow that, look, when the daughters come out, these 200 that ain't got no wives left because we killed all the rest of Benjamin's wives, we'll just let them take them by force. See, and that's where they started bringing that legal rape and stuff like that. When you hear these cats talking about legal rape, and because it said it was a feast of the Lord ain't got no feast day to where you can go to and just have your way with women.
Right.
But you hear the Buck Private, they call him the general, up there in New York, say Passover. Women come and get a killer in your bed. So these Negroes start teaching what was a crime as legal. But what it does, it gets in a young man's mind because he full of testosterone and want to release. And if they can get you to release at a feast day, oh boy. And then these Negroes after the feast day, whatever it was, the Passover, at a strip club on film. Because they read this like it's advice verses. Let's get to it, y'all. We see Judges 19 real quick. Oh, did we get them 3? No, let's get them real quick. Go ahead, y'all.
Exodus 22:16.
What it say? Yeah.
And if a man entice a maid that is not betrothed and lie with her, he shall surely endow her to be his wife.
Right.
If her father utterly refuse to give her unto him, he shall pay money according to the dowry of virgins.
See, so he still had to pay. He couldn't get away. Even if her daddy said, "No, Negro, I just can't have you around me. I kill you." He still had to pay for that crime. You just can't do what them talk Papa Cherry and keep it moving. No, it was penalties. Go ahead. What else to say? Like, oh, you got the other one. Y'all read on down on that. Go ahead. 1929.
Leviticus 19.
Yeah, and then Deuteronomy 22:28. Give me that real quick. I just want to hear a little bit of this Judges, y'all. We're going to close out. Look like the rest, we're going to have to give his homework.
Leviticus 19:29.
Yeah.
Do not prostitute thy daughter to cause her to be a whore.
To cause her to be a what?
Whore.
So did Lot violate this law when he sent his daughters out to them men? No, because he had 2 other daughters and his wife was there. If it was law break, he could have sent them out. But men pounding on the door to get with men, a righteous man said, no, I'm going to give you a virgin daughter. Because the law say you're going to end up having to marry her too. Even if I don't want you to marry her, you still got to pay me a dowry. Right. So the righteous man is still working this through the law of why he give his virgin daughters to stop this crime. I want y'all to think about the lust is just so powerful. They see a supernatural being glowing and they loins start glowing.
And they don't even want the virgin daughter.
Look, they told her we don't want them skanks. We want them glowing boys that come in there. And Lot, and when y'all get into that jazz and read a little bit more, they told Lot, if you don't open that door when we break it down, we're going to start with you. That's when Lot went and got them virgin daughters. They like, these men are out of control. Do not so wickedly. So now we're back to David's daughter when she told Absalom, just let us get married. I know it ain't common, but it's better than you raping your own sister. We got to take the lesser of this punishment. But all this goes back to David and Bathsheba. This is rolling downhill, y'all. What you reap, you what?
So.
Where we at? Judges 19. Did we get that Deuteronomy 22:28? Go ahead.
You got that Deuteronomy?
I ain't finished it. Do not prostitute thy daughter to cause her to be a whore, lest the land fall to whoredom and the land become full of wickedness.
Because the father would give his daughter away, but father started doing whoremongering. Like them Kardashian mama is doing. She's prostituting her daughters.
Yeah. Right.
Let's read some more. Deuteronomy 22:28 real quick.
Deuteronomy 22, you say 28?
Yes, sir.
If a man find a damsel that is a virgin, which is not betrothed, and lay hold on her,
right,
lie with her, and they be found, then the man that lay with her shall give unto the damsel's father 50 shekels of silver.
Right.
And she shall be his wife.
What shall she be?
His wife. Because he hath humbled her.
Right.
He may not put her away all his days.
See, he can't divorce her, y'all. This was where shotgun weddings came in Mississippi. Some of y'all in the South know about this. A father pull up in his car with the daughter and a shotgun. Is Earl Jr. in there, sir? Yes, sir, Earl Jr. here. Well, you need to get him out front here. And then he bring his daughter out. He's like, look, oh, Earl Jr., come out here. Is you responsible for that? You done told it, ain't you? Yes, she told it. And he's got a shotgun. And guess who else there with him to get out the passenger side of the car? The preacher. And they get married right then. You can't go down soft talking about this my girlfriend and sleep in the same room. They're like, no, you sleeping on the couch. She sleeping here. And I do get up in the middle of the night to get me some coffee, so don't be on that couch when I get up. They don't care how long you've been living together. Y'all go sleep in separate rooms.
That's right.
They don't care how old you are.
Yeah, boy, look here.
Sure don't.
They like, what you mean 60 and got a girlfriend?
Right.
Yeah, this my little help for Betty Lou. You know, me and her just kind of, we shack a little bit.
No sugar daddy going on down there.
Look, they say you got one choices. Go where they keep the light on. What that's that? What's that called?
Motel 6.
Hot sheet motel.
Or you sleep in that room and she sleep in that one. Only choices you got down south. They don't play it, y'all, but they got it from here. They just don't know why they got it from here, but it's in their DNA. Real quick, y'all, Judges 19. Real quick, y'all, I just want to read these real quick. And I'm give y'all some homework to study on righteous dance. And this is all I wanted to show y'all real quick. And y'all, we ain't going to be able to get into it like that. We just going to get to the heart of it real quick. Judges 19. Who got it? Started right at about the point where this man and his concubine and his wife, and they start beating on the door.
Verse 22.
19 verse 22. Y'all start at verse 1 when y'all get a chance, but start at 19:22. Is that what we want, Lysa?
Yep.
Okay. Y'all, 1 to 9, y'all gonna see a young lady who played the harlot with her husband. See, if you can find a harlot being punished in the Bible, I like to see it. But if you find a woman that plays the harlot, that means she was married and she just played the harlot. She went out on her husband and gave it away for free. You didn't even get no money, so you're playing the harlot. You go from protection to just willy-nilly. Great crime for harlot. But the two women in 1 Kings 4, or 1 Kings 6, when Solomon split the baby, they say there was two harlots in one house. He never said what they were doing, and they got babies, newborns. One woman rolled over on her baby, and the other one said, it's my baby. The one that rolled over and killed her own baby, she took the other lady's baby while it was asleep. See, this is that polygamy, that pimp game running because it's two harlots in one house. Ain't no paperwork. The babies must be by the same daddy because they couldn't tell the difference. Hell, the mama know if that's her baby, but she know they by the same daddy. They looking alike. So she could take the baby to court. It's still looking just like the daddy. You know what I'm saying? That's playing both these women. Where the daddy at court is Solomon finna split this baby in half. Where the daddy? Two harlots in the house. And both of them got newborns at the same time.
Both pregnant at the same time by the same Negro.
Yeah, that's where he should be. But the judgment ain't there. And look, even if he had work, they're called harlots, not wives.
So
These his side pieces.
He's not married to neither one of them.
Just popping babies in them. And Solomon said, I'm going to split the baby. Then he ended up giving it to the mother to say, no, don't do that. She said, that's the mama right there. Where the daddy at in court here? He could say, no, that's my heifer right there. She gets out of control. She rolled over on little Junior and killed him. This the rightful mother, Solomon. I'm the daddy of both them. But shit, he was in court like this. Shit. No, he wouldn't even say that. He looking. He like, shit. I hope he do something with these, cause shit, my wife find out about this baby, it's gonna be trouble. Them two babies. Damn, what's Solomon gonna do? And he ended up giving the baby back. But what we're talking about is everywhere you see a harlot being punished, it always gonna say she played the harlot. Even Tamar and Judah, it says your daughter-in-law has done what? Played the harlot, because she was supposed to be married to Judah's son Shechem. But Judah didn't give her to him.
He said she was more righteous than he in that act.
That saved that law from him being killed for going into uncovering his son's nakedness. Because he admitted. But we're gonna hit that real quick. So Judges 19 real quick. Where we at?
Hit verse 16 and then jump down.
Okay.
16 lets it be known who these men were.
Go ahead.
The book of Judges, chapter 19 and verse 16.
Yeah.
And behold, there came an old man from his work out of the field at evening, which was also of Mount Ephraim, and he sojourned in Gibeah. But the men of the place were Benjamites.
What were the men?
They were Benjamites.
So that city was surrounded with Benjamites. Go ahead.
And when he had lifted up his eyes, he saw a wayfaring man in the street of the city. And the old man said, Whither goest thou?
So skip on down to 22.
Verse 22. And as they were making their hearts merry, behold, the men of the city, certain sons of Belial, beset the house round about, and beat at the door.
What they do?
They beat at the door. And the old man saying,
No, read that again.
Yeah, I missed the whole.
Yes,
It's me, man.
I see.
got it. And beat at the door.
Right.
And spake to the master of the house, the old man.
Right.
Saying, Bring forth the man that came into thine house, that we may know him.
That we may do what?
That we may know him.
Is they asking to know a man, these Benjamites?
Getting to know.
Go ahead.
Verse 23.
No, it wasn't that type. Go ahead. They don't want to know all about him. Go ahead.
And the man, the master of the house, went out unto them, and said unto them, Nay, my brethren, nay, I pray you, do not so wickedly.
Because it's an abomination for a man to lay down with a man as like womankind. It's abomination. So it moves into wickedness. Go ahead.
Seeing that this man is coming to mine house, do not this folly.
What did he say next?
Behold, here is my daughter, a maiden.
A what?
A maiden. And his concubine.
And his concubine, which is not a sex slave like these Negroes teach. A concubine is a secondary wife. Bilhah was a concubine, but it said Reuben went into Jacob's wife. They're not sex slaves. Ain't nowhere in the Bible you have what's called a sex slave. That's what R. Kelly was trying to make. Go ahead.
Them I will bring out now, and humble ye them.
And do what with them?
And humble ye them. And do with them what seemeth good unto you.
Right.
But unto this man do not so vile a thing. But the men would not hearken to him. So the man took his concubine and brought her forth unto them. And they knew her and abused her all the night, and abused her all the night until the morning. And when the day began to spring, they let her go. Then came the woman in the dawning of the day, and fell down at the door of the man's house where the Lord was, till it
where her
Lord was, till it was light. And her Lord rose up in the morning and opened the doors of the house, and went out to go his way. And behold, the woman, his concubine, was fallen down at the door of the house, and her hands were upon the threshold. And he said unto her, Up, and let us be going. But none answered. Then the man took her up upon an ass, and the man rose up and got him unto his place. And when he was come into his house, he took a knife and laid hold on his concubine, and divided her together with her bones.
Because she been raped to death.
Right.
Go ahead.
Into 12 pieces, and sent her into all the coast of Israel. And it was so, that all that saw it said, there was no such deed done, nor seen from that day that the children of Israel came up out of the land of Egypt unto this day. Consider of it, take advice, and speak your mind.
So when you get into the next few chapters, I'm just explaining this real quick because we got to get out of here. When you get into the next few chapters, it's going to tell you after he sent them right there, and the heads of the tribe were saying, Benjamin tripping, y'all, we got to go to war with them. Let's make a vow, though. You know, and where they went to war, and they say, who we going to send up first? Judah went up first, but Benjamin was left-hand slingshot throwers. They say they could split a hair at so many feet I'm talking about you pull a hair out of your head, they could throw a rock like this
And split it down the middle.
split it down the middle. And these were always the men that were on the front lines when you got war coming, because you got people charging you. They're on the front lines like this, and they knocking them off their horses and different things. You pound them out before they get to the front line, then your army start handling. But we got to have these. They were like snipers. You know how you have snipers in the war? These were snipers. This is why I tell you they could throw a rock. I mean, you could be way down here on Grand and Page, and they be like, look at him sitting up there eating that Rally's burger. Boom! And knock his head off from that far away. Sharpshooters, get it? That they were, as you read that on down. And what happened, they made a vow. They say, well, look, the Lord's feast is coming up. Where that's at? Man, took about 20. Hold on. I just want to get where the Lord's feast was. Lord, Phineas, giving children it been when I kill time. Let us go. Let us flee from sin, and it came to give you a sore battle. It may be in 21. And the men of Mr. King God lifted Israel, pad their mind. Okay, Mizpah, go smite them. Go down to Shiloh. Okay, that's where we at. We're in 21. Crazy Bethel, lying wait, saying we will see, behold, Shiloh. Okay, right here. Okay, we want to go 21 and 19. Y'all read 1 through 19. In chapter 21, because it's going to tell you the war was tense. It was serious. Wasn't nothing left but a few Benjamites left. And when they saved the virgin women, when they killed all the Benjamites, they saved 200 virgin women. Well, there was 400 men, so it was 200 without wives. So they say the feast of the Lord is coming up, and when they dancing, y'all just attack them then. This is a vow they made. This ain't got nothing to do with no Lord instruction. This is them trying to fix the deal that they said, let's wipe a tribe out of Israel that's into wickedness at this high level. So they're trying to fix that with a vow. And it says, go ahead, start at 21. What did it say?
21?
Yeah, I mean 19.
19 is what you want.
Judges chapter 21 and verse 19.
Uh-huh.
Then they said, behold, there is a feast of the Most High in Shiloh.
A feast of who?
Of the Most High in Shiloh, yearly in a place which is on the north side of Bethel, on the east side of the highway that goeth up from Bethel to Shechem, and on the south of Lebanon.
So it talks about Shiloh is the place of the Lord, it's Jerusalem. Until Shiloh come, remember that in Genesis 49. And Shiloh was the place of the Lord. You get into that in Jeremiah 7 and 12. You'll see Shiloh again, the place of the Lord. His name is there. So they saying it's a feast of the Lord. We got Zechariah 14, so we're talking about the Feast of Tabernacles. But the dancing entertainment, so to speak, the sisters was come out. It gets switched over into what they call now, and what's them Kappa Alpha Sappers, you know what I'm talking about. They had them dances, but they do Greek dances versus step show. This is where they got that from. It don't mean that's legal because they're doing it to Greek gods. Go ahead, what you got?
The video, I had a question. She wanted to know, does righteous dancing include the praise dancing that they do in the COGIC?
Kojic Church, if it's not according to the law, because what feast day is it on? Is it on Christmas? Is it on, what days is it on? See, that's what we got to look at first. What day are they doing dancing on to call it righteous?
They do it all the time. It don't matter.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So this, only in the Bible, we have it connected to a feast day. So if they have it connected to a feast day, not saying just dancing somewhere, somebody just dancing, they dance, everything is wicked. But what we're talking about is when men of Israel use this scripture deceitfully to send young man after a feast day to the strip club and tell them that's legal. Horny young men up in there with just coins in their pocket talking about you can have any woman. Them women ain't going for no coins.
With their fringes on.
With their fringes on. How you gonna be up there? You ain't even making it drizzle, let alone rain. Hell, you like this, Pluka. Is it about to rain?
Partly cloudy.
Partly cloudy, you up in there with partly cloudy money.
No, partly cloudy with a chance of meatballs.
Boy, look at that. You save yourself, boy, when it's like this. Almost get it, boy. You're heating up at the end. But go ahead, finish this, Zeb. Finish that, y'all. You're 19.
Okay, verse 20. Therefore, they commanded the children of Benjamin, saying, go and lie in wait in the vineyard, and see, and behold, if the daughters of Shiloh come out to dance in dances. Then come ye out of the vineyards, and catch you every man his wife of the daughters of Shiloh, and go to the land of Benjamin. And it shall be, when their fathers or their brethren come unto us to complain.
To do what?
To complain.
See, because it's an illegal marriage.
Right.
Even if the brother who takes over for the father, he give his sister away. If they come to complain, what we going to say?
That we will say unto them, be favorable unto them for our sakes, because we reserve not to each man his wife in the war, for ye did not give unto them at this time, that ye should be guilty.
So y'all can see the rest of that they took the dancing wives, but these are commandments that they made up. Look, y'all don't be mad about this. Look, y'all didn't save enough women for the leftover Benjamites who were not of the sons of Belial. So we made a decision to let them come out on a feast day and just pick who they want.
Right.
So they coming out on the feast day, oh, God, licking their eyebrows like windshield wipers and run over to her. Men running over to her, taking them behind bushes on the feast day. And they legalized this. So these men, these wicked men of Israel today, this year, will take this scripture and say, see right there, it's a feast of the Lord, niggas. Get your change and let's head down to strippers or us.
Oh.
But see, if you read back, the tribe of Benjamin was about to be wiped out.
Yeah.
And for them to keep an inheritance, this where this came from is because it was only a remnant left of Benjamin. Because they were about to be completely wiped out.
Yeah,
because of the wickedness of what they had did.
Yeah.
These cats had went way left field. They were doing the acts of Sodom and Gomorrah.
Did you read all that 19 through 20? Y'all, we're going to hit these last real quick. Give me Judges 11:34. Real quick, y'all. Give me Genesis 34, 1 through 4. And y'all read all of that Judges 19 through 21. Y'all have to read it so that you don't get pinpointed to one event and they say, this is legal. Fornication is legal. So now you see why they have no problem with saying Joseph took Mary without a wedding ceremony, because these Negroes using scriptures because they say it was a feast of the Lord. But these men are commanding a different situation. What the feast of the Lord got to do with Benjamites being sons of Belial being killed? What that got to do with Passover or the Feast of Tabernacles? They threw that in there because they train you not to study the scripture. Right. You come to this triple high priest, right, and I'll tell you what it means. Now you got your change. Look, y'all put y'all change together. One of y'all get a lap dance. I heard Delicious will do change.
Uh-oh. Long as it's in the roll.
Boy, look here. Yeah.
That's what I heard.
Yeah. Come on, y'all. Let's get this and we're going to close out real quick. Judges 11:34. And y'all, this is about Jephthah. And it starts off in 11:1. Jephthah was a mighty warrior in Israel, but it says his mother was a harlot, meaning that she had him out of wedlock. Mm-hmm. That's all it means.
Bastard slip.
A bastard slip. That's what the script called it, a bastard slip. What you mean you pregnant? I thought you said you was on the pill. I thought you said you had protection. It's called a bastard slip. He was a bastard slip. So you read about his heroics, is that a good word? And antics of a mighty soldier in Israel. When Israel was getting their rear end kicked, they asked for him, but they was mocking him at first. Yeah, I hear they call your mama mattress back. But when them Philistines were whooping Israel's head, the only warrior they could think was the son of the harlot. And he, as a righteous man, said, you know what? I could turn my back on y'all, but I'm going to do it for the nation. Mm-hmm. And he went out with that sword and started slaying them Philistines and was called a champion. And he said, Lord, if you grant me the power to do that, the first thing that comes out of my door to greet me coming home from the war, I will give to you as a living sacrifice. Mm-hmm. And the first person came out was his daughter.
Only daughter.
Only daughter.
Only child.
And he said, whoa, what have I said? What have I said? and she was immediately took to the temple. And there was a custom in that. Give me the end of that, Judges. 11:34. Give me that real quick. I'm just giving y'all the synopsis of the story, and we're going to get just down to the point. Then we're going to hit this last one and close out.
Judges 11:34.
Yeah.
And Jephthah.
And who?
Jephthah came to Mizpah unto his house, and behold, his daughter came out to meet him with timbrels and with dances. And she was his only child. Beside her, he had neither son nor daughter. And it came to pass, when he saw her, that he rent his clothes and said, Alas, my daughter, thou hast brought me very low, and thou art one of them that trouble me. For I have opened my mouth unto the Most High, and I cannot go back.
See, he's not blaming her. He said, you just caused me a lot of trouble, babe. You know, me personally, because I made that vow that I would give, and I got to give you up. Why did I say that? But he had to accept the vow because you can't go back on the vow. Read what else it said.
And she said unto him, My father, if thou hast opened thy mouth unto the Most High, do to me according to that which hath proceeded out of thy mouth.
Y'all see this righteous daughter? Go ahead.
For as much as the Most High hath taken vengeance for thee of thine enemies, even of the children of Ammon. And she said unto her father, Let this thing be done for me. Let me alone 2 months.
Let me, how long?
2 months. That I may go up and down upon the mountains and bewail my virginity, I and my fellows.
So she was going to get with a group of her girls and bewail her virginity, saying, I will never have a man. This is what the Catholics copy and call what a nun is. But we find out, no, I ain't gonna say that. But it's something different going on in Catholic Church with them nuns.
And burying bodies in the walls.
Right. The only meat them priests eating is nun. So it's a difference. Versus this, she was gonna be a nun. But in the temple, right here. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead. What it say?
Okay. Verse 36.
38.
38?
Yeah.
Okay. And he said, Go, and he sent her away for 2 months. And she went with her companions and bewailed her virginity upon the mountain. And it came to pass at the end of 2 months that she returned unto her father, who did with her according to his vow.
According to his what?
Vow, which she had vowed. And she knew no man.
So she wasn't bewailing her virginity out there like Sodom and Gomorrah. It says she knew no man.
She knew no man.
Go ahead.
And it was a custom in Israel.
What was it?
A custom.
See, this was a custom in Israel. For if a man offered his daughter as a living sacrifice, it's a human sacrifice, but she was never put on a fire, was she?
No.
Was she put on a fire, Elijah?
No, the Most High became her covering.
What else to say, Elijah?
Christ became her covering. That the daughters of Israel went yearly to lament the daughter of Jephthah, the Gileadite, 4 days in a year.
So this was added on as a custom. Y'all, we have customs. Just like we read in Jeremiah 10, the custom of the people are vain. This nation have customs. Everything they do with Labor Day is not how you consider a pagan holy day. It's for people who work. If you don't work, it's pagan to you. Because you ain't doing no labor. So that custom of this people ain't bad on us, is it? I mean, they're giving you a day off with pay for working. Where do you find pagan in that unless you're not a worker?
For doing the commandment.
For doing the commandment.
Working to the sweat and not brown.
Real quick, Genesis 34, and then we're going to hit Genesis 38, 23, and we're going to close on out. But Genesis 34, 1 through 4, and y'all match Jasher 33 with that. Jasher going to get into the day-to-day events, what we had talked about earlier, or Shechem being circumcised. But just real quick, Genesis 34, 1 through 4, we're going to hit Genesis 38 and 23, and we're going to close out. Because all of these match up with the laws of what we're talking about in behavior of what Judah had done. Real quick, y'all, let's get that. Who got it?
Genesis chapter 34, verse 1.
What it say?
And Dinah, the daughter of Leah, which she bare unto Jacob, went out to see the daughters of the land.
What she go out to do?
To see the daughters of the land. And when Shechem, the son of Hamor, the Hivite, prince of the country saw her.
African, go ahead.
He took her and lay with her and defiled her.
And what did he do?
And defiled her.
Uh-huh.
And his soul cleaved unto Dinah, daughter of Jacob. And he loved the damsel.
What did he do?
He loved the damsel.
Uh-huh.
And spake kindly unto the damsel. And Shechem spake unto the father Hamor, saying, get me this damsel to wife.
What did he go tell his daddy? I got to marry her.
Get me this damsel to wife.
I got to make it right. I done had the honeymoon before the wedding, but I got to do this right. Get her daddy. Go talk to her daddy. Go ahead.
And Jacob heard that he had defiled Dinah, his daughter. Now his sons were with his cattle in the field, and Jacob held his peace until they were come.
See, because Jacob knew what was going to happen with his son. We don't play that. So y'all, did we get to verse 4 of that? Okay, y'all read on down, y'all see what happened. That a covenant was made, a righteous covenant was made. And Simeon and Levi was thinking about, we're going to wait till the skin is off. We're going to get about 2 hours after that skin off. They ought to be awful tender. And then somebody come in there with a sword and you got your legs open like this. How you going to fight like this? Go! Stop it! Their legs was wide open, y'all, and they come in on them with swords. What you gonna do, Elijah? Oh, you can't run. How you gonna run? You'll be running like these youngsters with their pants sagging. Where we at? And y'all read Jasher 33, but it's gonna break it down into day-to-day events. Match that up with Jasher 33. Now, real quick, y'all, we're gonna close on out Genesis 38 and 23. And this is Judah. And y'all read from verse 1 and you see Judah had a problem with strange women. His first sons were by Canaanite women. Her dad and them had some paper. They owned a liquor store.
Oh.
And they had a little paper, so they was like them Kardashians. And he went into them and got them pregnant and know he wasn't supposed to. And both them sons was wicked as hell because the mama raised them.
Yep. With her customs.
With her customs. So we're going to take all of this, and what happened was both them sons died. Then he had a third son, Shemar. Is that right? Shelah. I'm sorry, Shelah. He had a third son that when he got of age, he was supposed to marry his dead brother's wife. He was next in line. When he became of age, Tamar told him he's old enough now. He's old enough. So this let you know sex wasn't just willy-nilly. Sex was at a certain age when responsibility to come in. She said, he's a man now. He can take care of me now. That's what the Messiah say in Ezekiel 16. He said, when I married y'all, he said, I took y'all and I put a covering over. He said, and I spread my covering over. He said, until the time of love came, then I spread my covering over you. But he shows how he protected us, how he purchased us righteously, so to speak, took care of us, gave us clothes, food, and shelter. Then he spread his covering over us. He didn't spread his covering over that he had us way with it, but he said, and he tell us how he dressed us up. Gator skins and all of this, shoes and silk clothes from everything. And we didn't want it. We wanted to play the harlot. Y'all read Ezekiel 16, y'all know what I'm saying. But give me this real quick. Y'all read 1 down through 22, and we're going to pick it up at 23. Y'all, we're going to close on out. And this is after Judah was drunk, staggered about the wayside, didn't even know that was Tamar wrapped up playing the harlot because she heard he was finna go shear his sheep. And he went into it but didn't have no money. So he started pulling off jewels. Pulled off a bracelet. Did this. And not only that, then he gave her the staff. Yep. Here you go, baby. Hold on to these and I'll bring the money back. Well, he was bringing a goat back. Goat was worth big paper then. You can sell half of them and eat the other half for 6 months. But he said, I'll bring back. They say, we ain't see. He said, what that harlot that was around her? Because in Canaan, they had once a year, a woman before she would go get married, she would sow her royal oats for 7 days before she went to her husband. She'd just go out on the block and just let man have her, loosen up for her husband. That was their custom.
Yeah. I guess that was the genesis. I guess that was the genesis of slaughter and sacrifice.
Boy, you teetering on. You teetering, but that was pretty good. I took my hand off the buzzer. You batting 2 for 2 this late hour. But go ahead. Pick it up. 23, y'all. Go ahead, 23, y'all, so we got it. Yeah, go ahead, 23. Get that.
Go ahead. God is on you.
Oh, okay. Genesis 38:23.
Yeah.
And Judah said, let her take it to her, lest we be shamed. Behold, I sent this kid, and thou hast not found her.
So he sent his boy to go pay her. Give me my stuff back. Give her a kid. It's worth. Give me my stuff back. Go ahead. But when you read what he gave her his royalhood. He gave her all of his power of the nation of Israel for a quickie.
The sickness and everything.
Yeah. What else to say real quick, Elijah?
And it came to pass about 3 months after that it was told Judah, saying, Tamar, thy daughter-in-law, hath played the harlot.
What did she do?
Played the harlot.
See, a married woman or an espoused woman, engaged woman, can't be a harlot. She has to play a harlot because she's married. Go ahead. What else to say?
And also, behold, she is with child by whoredom.
Uh-oh, by what?
Whoredom.
Uh-oh.
And Judah said, bring her forth, and let her be burnt. When she was brought forth, she sent to her father-in-law, saying, by the man whose these are, am I with child?
Uh-oh, this the pappy. This his stuff.
And she said, discern, I pray thee, whose are these? The signet, and bracelet, and staff. And Judah acknowledged them.
What Judah do?
Acknowledged them.
Y'all, if 1 John 1:8, if we acknowledge our transgressions, he's faithful to forgive us. He acknowledged right on the spot. That's my stuff, man. Shit. That's mine.
Right.
Go ahead. What else to say?
And said, she hath been more righteous than I.
She's more righteous than him in a wicked situation. Yep. Go ahead.
Because that I gave her not to Shelah my son, and he knew her again no more.
No more. And not could Shelah couldn't even take her no more. And as y'all get on, you'll see that 2 sons was born out of that, Pharez and Zara. They were twins, and then the Messiah ended up coming out of that lineage. That lineage was not destroyed, but we had to wait a little while, and then it got cleaned up after these 2 boys because Judah corrected his mistake. So you see the difference in David and Judah. Both acknowledge their iniquities right up. All the other wicked try to get around their BS and find a loophole. This why the judgment was different, that both of them wasn't put to death and she wasn't burned with fire, because Judah acknowledged, don't do that to her, that's on me. Not like wicked men today. That was her. She lured me in there. She unzipped my britches. She's a wicked woman. It was her doing all the most. I was just standing like this, and she was doing all the work, and the next thing I know, boom. She's so wicked. So wicked. Boy, they ain't gonna take none of it, is they, y'all? No blame. Y'all read the rest of it, y'all. We're gonna have to close on out, y'all.
She's so wicked.
Y'all, we got the Feast of Dedication coming up. The Feast of Dedication starts Sunday, November the 28th at sundown, and it runs for 8 days till Monday, December the 6th. It's where you light your menorah. All of them, all 7 of them, every day for 8 days. Not like Judaism teach, and they got a 9 branch, and they light one per day with the center one. Ain't no instructions for that. The instructions say light them all at the same time. Every day for 8 days, and your oil should last. So everybody, if y'all ain't got y'all menorahs and get y'all all together, y'all got to get prepared. You got a little time now. You can't wait till the last minute. You can't be tearing off loose clothing on your show, on your clothes and making wicks for them. Get your wicks and stuff now. Don't wait till the last minute, y'all, to do this holy day. You'll be just like you was in them vain holidays trying to shop on Christmas Eve. Now you bringing that over here? So that day, y'all, but down here, it'll be assembly gathering, and we'll have it here on December the 4th, which is that Saturday. We'll pick it up because it don't end for 2 more days. So we'll catch the 6th day down here like we usually do. So y'all, we'll celebrate that feast as an assembly feast. We can't forsake the assembly. and make sure we get it in as everybody so we understand what we're supposed to be doing, y'all. Y'all cool with that? One love to the worldwide family. Thank y'all so much. Go ahead. What we got?
All right, family, we're going to get this closing prayer. And it's with the Most High's permission. And in the name of his only begotten Son, our Lord and Savior, Yahushua HaMashiach. But we know him as Jesus the Christ, y'all. Long live the King.
Long live the
Reading in the book of Psalms, in the 101st chapter, it reads, I will sing of mercy and judgment unto thee, O Yahweh, will I sing. I will behave myself wisely in a perfect way. O when wilt thou come unto me? I will walk within my house with a perfect heart. I will set no wicked thing before mine eye. I hate the work of them that turn aside. It shall not cleave to me. A forward heart shall depart from me. I will not know a wicked person.